There we go. Looks like everyone's back to where we are. So thank you for hanging tight. Hanging tight. We'll go ahead and just restart. And if you're on YouTube, I feel like I'm probably just gonna cut all of that, and you're just starting right here because you're probably gonna be like, wait, what happened? And nothing happened at all. Everything's fine.
Nothing happened.
If you want to experience it, you can just pause for 15 minutes.
Yeah, just go ahead, press pause, go outside, flip your breakers a couple times, and that's really all it was. It was great.
Yell at your
cool.
neighbors, asking what's going on.
We are having a wonderful chat, and we learned that Aaron's going to be running a Fallout game over on Gar Black soon, either September or October. So we're very excited to see that. All right, so yeah, I think we're just doing a quick summary. I'll make it even quicker. We're on an alien planet. There is an ancient mega city where all these different aliens live now, and this crew of people you see here, they've been trying to help out one of the people who gave them a job. One of their kind of like a gangster type who's trying to control import export within the city, this sort of apocalyptic setting, and they went out to the Drowning Docks, Liftwater Circle, these places that are right on the coast, because apparently the powers that be in the city captured a crew of like these pirate folks, these pirate merchants, and have kind of put them into a warehouse while a bunch of their tech people are rummaging around in their ship, because like the technology that these pirate merchants have been using in their ships is sort of proprietary, and they're tired of the middleman, the Iron Tilla, we call them. They're this small little island grouping of people, and they sometimes do some sea shipping. And now the powers that be in the city don't want to go through the middleman anymore, and they want to get this tech. And so the heroes that they are, Octavia, Weiss, and Sonika, hopped into a rickety old boat that was run by some guy named Jimmy. I think Sonika tried to set it on fire at some point. It was very awkward. And they traveled out, met with a woman by the name of Barbarossa, as I believe her name was. And you all made a deal. You made a deal that she would kind of hand over some of the goods that Sonika needs to help kind of flush out one of her old kind of family enemies. If you all would help them free their imprisoned crew from whatever dock warehouse, so that they could take that ship, that captured ship of their ship is there, that ship, I can speak, and get it away from the city. So that's basically where we're at. So we're going to go ahead and start then, and we're going to say that you all are returning. You've made it back to the docks at this point. It's nighttime, so the cycles of the sun and stars are kind of strange here, but essentially it's dark out. You can look up and you can see various sort of celestial bodies up in the air or up in the sky. They're giving some light, stars, moons, other things that might be orbiting around the planet. And when you get back, you can see that there's still some busyness here. The water is rising. Tide is higher at night here. And you can see that the warehouse is still well guarded by several Husk enforcers. And we'll something really quick. And you don't see any sign anymore, Sunenka, of the Kabishan Tamak who seem to be running the joint. You did see that there were a bunch of these little millipede-like drones, these almost large dog-sized drones that were scouring around the Iron Tilla ship that's in the dock and inside and out. So it's possible they could have gone inside, or they might have just left the scene because it's late. But there's still several Huskorg that are about, and a bunch of kind of dried out fishermen and fisher folk and stuff that are around still. Some are still fishing these dark, gunky waters for different reasons. But you all return. And so what do you want to do?
Well, we still have access to this docking area. Maybe we can do some reconnaissance.
Okay.
Hide around, snoop around, watch for like guard changes, how many people.
Okay.
Sticking around.
I think that sounds really good. Why don't you roll a notice? why don't since you're so one, how about this? One of you roll a lead roll for the group for notice if multiple of you are doing this, and one of you roll a lead for sneaking. So one person kind of making sure that the group stays quiet, and one person kind of taking the lead on just observation. So who wants to do those?
I have a 0 in sneaking. If you
Okay.
want to do
I can call on my savage senses so that I can get a +2 to notice.
Sounds good. Vice, then, why don't you roll the sneak? And we should say, if you're unfamiliar with Worlds Without Number, having a 0 in a skill is better because you start at -1, basically.
Yeah.
And so having a 0 means you at least have some training in it. So go ahead, Vice, you roll a sneak. You can use whatever attribute you think it would be useful here and describe how it's happening. And then, Seneca, why don't you go ahead and roll your Notice Wisdom.
That's a 14 for the notice whiz.
Okay.
I think my browser's
And-
lagging, but I'll do a dex
Okay.
sneak.
I can roll it for you if it's lagging pretty bad. Dex sneak, you said? All right. Switch that up. Just all sorts of stuff tonight. That's a 7. That's not terrible, but it's not great. All right. So, Sonika, you notice a couple things. You notice first that as you all linger around, you're looking probably especially for the cabochon and for the kind of the melodronic creatures. You never see any signs of the cabochon. So like that kind of jet, like emerald looking person whose skin was composed basically of some kind of gem like substance and had what almost looks like points of light that were kind of crisscrossing through them as they spoke with you. And you know them to essentially be the people who run the city. You do not see them at all. You wait a while. You peek as best you can through the hull down into the ship. You don't see everything inside, obviously, but with how you're looking around, you're pretty confident at this point that they're not here. The desk setup that they had seems to have been packed away. So whatever they were doing on the docks, you would lead you to believe they're probably gone. However, you do see that there are still those kind of robotic drones that as you're watching come out onto the hull, and you can see that there's at least 3 of them that are moving about. The Husk specifically, there's 6 of them as you're watching. It looks like 2 of them are on the front door of this warehouse that this crew has been chained within.
Right.
You can see that there are 2 that are over by the lift that goes back up to the city. Because remember that the docks are well below, like the entirety of Big Husk, our city, is on a cliffside, and the Drowning Docks is like literally down by the water, which is a couple hundred feet below. But you can see 2 are over there, and then you see the other 2 are just patrolling, and you can see they're just patrolling around the various docks themselves, going up and down, peeking here and there. And I mean, 14 is such a good roll. I want to give you something else besides that.
It is a good roll.
You notice that there is activity up on the cliffs, in the hollow cliffs to the north. You can see that there are lights up there moving about. So either there are people on some of the auxiliary stairs, there's creatures that are flying, or something else. You're not entirely sure what, because you don't have quite that distance.
What if I give her my spyglass to look through?
Okay, sure. You hand over the spyglass, you zoom in, you notice that there seems to be a group of these like the family of Cause, these mimicry type flying creatures that that climb and coast and climb and coast. They're kind of used as messengers from various towers within the city, and they live and roost within some of the caves, the cave walls and the hollow cliffs. You see some of them are kind of responsible, like they wear some kind of like gear over their backs that has kind of like an emergency light, almost like a bicycle light or a walking light, so that people can see them coming. But you also notice that they seem to be struggling to get back to their cliffs, as there's some kind of like mechanical device that is active and preventing them from going in. It almost looks like a turret of some kind. And that's a good 150 feet up in the air. It's not immediately affecting you, but 150 feet or so.
So basically, it looks like there's a group of people that are trying to get back to where they belong, and they can't get there.
Yeah, it seems like there's like you would probably get. I mean, it's not uncommon for tech to malfunction in the city and cause all sorts of issues. And sometimes it's just annoyances. Sometimes people just die from tech. You know, it depends on what. So it's possible that there is some kind of like defense turret or whatever that is kind of activating strangely. Whenever anything kind of gets too close, you can see like a little like laser like shoot out, and bits of rock begin to fall all the way down from the side of the cliff. It seems like the creatures that are flying are fast enough to kind of avoid it, but it's making their night a little bit of a living hell.
So I'm going to share that information back with the group. That, that's not our mission, but if we can help the creatures that fly, maybe they could do us a favor back and help us with what we're trying to do.
That or use it as a distraction and insist that like they need help, like tell the Huskor like there's a scuffle up on the cliff face, and so there's fewer people here that we have to deal with.
Yeah, if we think that they would leave their post to go help with that. Or we can go over there, help the people, and make the tech malfunction even more so that they would have to go.
Yeah.
What do you think, Vice?
It feels out of distance. Do we even bother with that? Why would the guards even care as well? They're
Well, because
paid to stand by the warehouse.
It's at the top of the thing, right? Of the lift.
It's not all the way up, no. Like, so, you know that there are kind of naturalized caves in the sides of the cliffs that a lot of certain species that live here have found. That's like basically their residence. So, and it's not all the way up to the top. So it's like midway up the circle.
Okay.
It's like a vertical city.
Got it.
Like a vertical neighborhood, I should say. And I guess the other thing, Seneca, is like if you're looking at the water, because I know we talked about the water going down and under.
Yeah.
You do notice that there are little lights here and there, like little groupings of light that are kind of flickering, almost like fireflies that you would notice. Why don't you roll?
In the water.
Yeah. Why don't you roll a survival test to see if you can identify them?
Wiz survive is a 5.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're not sure what they are.
Not really much of a water person.
Yeah. Okay.
So do we think it's worth trying to help those folks and get some winged assistance with what we're doing?
Oh, you're thinking winged assistance?
They are flying, and if we do them a favor, they owe us a favor.
That could come in handy if we're trying to board the ship. Do we know where that's at all?
You know where they are until you can see it. Like Seneca walked right up to it, but it's it's right next to the warehouse, and so any movement towards it would probably be seen by the guards that are protecting the warehouse.
Yeah.
The warehouse is like right on the docks, right there.
Mm-hmm.
I also should kind of clarify that the docks aren't like rickety wooden fantasy docks. Like this is still like mixtures of concrete, some kind of ceramic metal and stuff like that. So it's all still like the high quality construction that you've seen throughout the city that has allowed it to like survive this lengthy period of time.
Okay, so to build on that community that's on the cliffside, do we know what they are and like I guess their alliances?
Okay, you would know that. I mean, they have a couple different names, but they're sort of families. Like they're like a swarm group of like these flying, roughly, kind of pigeon-sized, almost pigeon-sized, like bird-like reptiles that fly about. and they tend to deliver messages. And so some people call them like mimicries because they have a tendency to like mimic language. They don't really speak; they just sort of mimic what people speak. Some people just call them caws, like that's what they do. They fly around. In terms of their allegiance, they're certainly not like in a power position of any in any way. Like they're not like there's certain species here that have like a power position. So you've got like the Cabashan gem people, like they are tip top. The Huskorg are kind of they're the enforcers who have a fairly prioritized position. And then the sort of robotic millipede creatures that wander about are a fairly high up on like the hierarchy. These aren't. They're like in the middle. But they do complete a very specific service, which is allowing fast communication. They're basically the mail carriers across the city. So they don't necessarily have a specific loyalty.
Okay, so to get some sort of favor from them, I can imagine like if we help them with this turret, they would like carry this crew and us over to the ship, just like right above them. Sort of deal.
They're like pigeon size.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
pigeons.
Yeah,
Us.
you don't think that they would be able to carry people for you? I'm not saying they couldn't help you in some way, but like, yeah, they wouldn't be carrying people.
Yes, if that was your idea too.
I was imagining big bird people.
No, they're not like me, where I
Not
can
big
swoop
bird
down
people.
and hold you.
I'm writing down a note. Next time we play, we're making a big bird race. And Sesame Street can sponsor the stream. Okay. So
Alright,
it's at this
so we're gonna
point.
go help them or no?
I'm gonna also say, by the way, with a 7, the sneakiness is eventually kind of overtaken, and you can see one of the Huskorgs sees like, you all need to go. Not supposed to be here now. Go get up the elevator before we have to bring you in.
Is there another way up?
You can climb, but puny arms like yours, probably not.
You might be right.
And when this guy's talking to us, Octavia's gonna point out what's happening with that like tower thing that's like and she'll point like up there. What is that?
Looks up and you can see like this big bushy walrus face just starts to squint. Bad things, but not my problem. I work the docks. I don't work the cliffs, so I'm going to get you off the docks.
Got it. Who works the cliffs?
Someone else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you realize like you had some interesting conversations with them last time because like
I love them each one.
yeah, they're so. I almost feel bad for them because I feel like they were totally being exploited by the people who run this city, and they are. Oh god, oh, it's wonderful.
Sinenko will just say you are doing your job well. You have a good rest of your night.
Thank you. You too. And if you don't go away, I will break your face.
But yeah, we start heading towards the docks or the thing.
Okay, so you head over. Two more Huskorg are there. I'm gonna say, for sake of it, Jimmy and the crew have already left.
Yep.
So you wait around a few minutes, you get your lift, and you go back up to the city.
Yes.
How do we stop at that cliffside? It's just on the cliff. There's like no other.
It's a fairly slow-moving lift, so like you can hop
Get closer and then hop off. Yeah.
There's also there's emergency controls and stuff like that if you wanted to try to do that, but that would probably draw attention. But you can attempt to just hop off. You know that there's a series of like auxiliary stairs and stuff here and there, because not everybody who lives in the cliffs can fly. Some people are just good climbers, and some people it's just where they found a place to live. And so there's like stairs and walkways and things like that. They're more easily accessed from the cliff top. Back out in Liftwater Circle. Like you can access them. It's not like they're it's not like they're blocked off, like you can't go there. So you can
So
hop
then-
off now, or you can go all the way up and then take the stairs down.
I'd say hop off once we're closer.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
time to jump.
So I want everyone. You're gonna roll. This is great. This is gonna be great because if anybody rolls double ones, you fall to your death.
Sure.
Unless you're Octavia, then you can fly.
I've done this.
Yeah, that's right. That was
That's a
so
lot of
nice.
bits.
I was like, I don't want to kill Long's character right off the bat. We just bought these tokens. It's so terrible. It's so terrible. But now I don't mind at all. So everyone go ahead and roll like an exert test. You can do either dex or strength with this, whatever you prefer. As you try to leap off of the elevator here, the lift going up to get on one of the rafters. Anybody with a double one, you're dead. All right.
I had 1-1.
You want me to roll it for you again, Long? You still having trouble?
I don't think my MacBook was built from 2009.
Okay.
It's made for Forge.
Oh, thank you, Captain. We got some bits from Captain Karayan. So we have some rerolls. You're all welcome to use at some point. Which one's better for you, Dex or Strength?
Dex is probably better.
Dex for sure. Yeah, you are a weakling. You are a weak little bony man. But you did better than Octavia did.
Did better than me.
The only person who hops over without any issues whatsoever is Sinenka. She hops over with her 8. She like puts one foot on one of the railings and then kind of Legolas-like deftness is able to stomp her feet down. Both Octavia and Vice, however, kind of miss their jumps just ever so slightly.
I like
They're
to
okay.
think my hoofs made me slip.
Yeah. So it's the classic case of like you're hanging for a minute, but Octavia, you're strong enough to pull yourself up. Vice, you're like, your tiny little bony arms not quite there. But Sonika is able to pull you up. It's very embarrassing though, and you nearly fall. 6 was enough, but I just wanted to embarrass anybody who got a 6. Okay.
Good thing it's nighttime and like hardly anybody's there to see it. Just us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's a whole Huskor crew just watching.
They're just
Tiny
standing right there,
arms.
like, "Do you need help? We'll gladly help you up before we beat your face."
I wish I made a Huskor.
I tried. I'm telling you, like it would have been perfect for your
would
surfer
have.
dude character. Yeah,
would
you picked the angriest, like meanest species, and then made them into basically like Keanu Reeves or something from Bill and Ted's Excellent
I was
Adventure.
raised by Huskor.
It was great.
You know?
Yeah,
It's
that's
fine.
yeah. Clearly, that's what it was. That's cool. Going against type is really fun anyway. Okay, so you hop on. You got these metal rafters, these kind of pieced together. Now, this is construction that is not ancient, meaning like it is new construction from the people who actually currently inhabit the city. So it's very ramshackle, very patchy, and you can see there's repurposed metals and things from various places in the manufactory and around the districts. So, but yeah, you hop over and you can see that you're about, a flight or two from, going up a little bit further to where like this issue with the turret is. But you're close enough at this point that you hear like a lot of squawking, and you hear all sorts of these little choo, choo, as like this malfunctioning turret is just like firing randomly into the sky. And sometimes it's hitting the walls themselves and crumbling. But you're about 2 flights down, and you're about 100 feet or so south of where the hubbub is happening. What do you want to do?
Seneca would want to get closer because she's going to invoke Tongue of the Beast when we get closer to try to chat with them. But I
Chat
don't
with
think we're
the cause?
quite in shouting distance yet.
Yeah, you can probably talk with it. It's not like they can't speak. It's just like they don't have a very robust vocabulary because they're usually like speaking. If you ever played like a Kenku Tengu, this is like our riff, but it's a little different. But it's like that where they're kind of like they'll be able to speak. But yeah, you get a little bit closer. How close do you want to get?
Split the difference where we are now, so halfway there.
Okay. You get a little halfway there, and how about this? Why don't you re-roll your Notice Whiz and see if there's anything more that you can get? and I'm gonna. Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna have Vice roll it, but you rolled well, so that's good enough. You notice that there are several people that are on one, like on the rafter, two floors up. You can see them kind of hurt, and they're like they've been shot, and they're like slumping down in various places. Some of them are kind of trying to crawl like with their hands and their arms like up the stairs. A few of them are kind of hovering or like behind like various beams and poles, are kind of hiding, trying to, because they're scared. There's at least about 15, 20 people up here that are currently kind of freaked out by this. And then you see a handful of the creatures that are swarming about. But yeah, it's it looks like there's people up there that have already been shot by this thing.
Can I determine what kind of shots are being fired?
Sure. I'll give you a know an intelligence roll for that. I got you 10. It certainly seems to be beams of light. Some might call them laser beams.
Gotcha. Not moon gorilla beams.
Moon gorilla beams. Writing that down too. God, moon gorillas. You guys are killing me. I love it.
So I imagine while this thing's flailing around, we just kind of brute charge it and take possible hits.
Okay. I like the way you think, sir. I like the way you think.
Brave.
I'm willing. I mean, I survived a shuttle crash, so how hard can this be?
That is true.
I'll even use my fear no flame. Commit the effort for it.
Okay.
In case it's like some sort of fire.
All right. So you're all gonna. Okay. Well, let's do initiative then. Okay. So we're gonna do
I'll
initiative.
just leave the charge. Yeah.
I'm going
Before
to.
we do that, can I observe the tower a little bit more? Like, is there any like noticeable weak spots, or like a power box?
Okay. I would say roll notice whiz. That's fine. And you're specifically looking for that. Okay.
Oh damn, 4.
We have rerolls.
Yeah, you have rerolls. Thank you, Captain.
Yeah, I'll try one.
And I'm just gonna use the cave bear because I have it all queued up,
6.
but it's not really the cave bear.
I'm rolling lugs today.
That's not a great reroll.
No.
At least it wasn't like a crit fail, like
It's
I
true.
kept doing last night.
What'd you roll?
And you
A
died.
6.
I got a 6.
6 is not good enough to get any information that you haven't already received from Sinenka, unfortunately.
Okay.
So let's see. Go ahead and begin this. Oh my god, really bad rolls. Again, the cave bear is just my placeholder for this laser beam.
Okay.
Oh, perfect timing of that.
That's
But you do get your bonus because your third eye pops open and you're able to start seeing like things slightly into the future. So you all actually get to go first. So it is just kind of we'll do this in this way. We'll do it this way. We'll treat it like this. Right now, you guys are kind of we'll say a flight or two down and about 100 feet or so away. What you are able to tell is that anybody on the same level, it was firing at. And it didn't matter quite how far they were. So it could be 50, 100 feet. It had great range. Anybody on the same level. The only time it ever seemed to attack people above or below is when it got very, very close. So use that to determine your specific things. Turn that down a little bit. Okay. So what do you want to do, the three of you?
Yeah, I want to pretty much not derobe completely, but sort of like how like
Seems very inappropriate, but okay.
sort of like how I guess people prepare to like walk across fire coals. I'll just like fear no flame sort of style, like a ritual,
Okay.
and I'll just like go at it.
Okay.
Like-
Do you want to kind of climb up? Because like there's like various ladders and things you could try to climb up. Do you want to get underneath it first and then climb up, or do you want to run up the stairs and then just run at it? It'll be faster to run up the stairs and run across the rafters, but it might be it might be sneakier or craftier to run underneath it and then climb the ladders up
I
below
see.
it.
I'll take the upper level then.
Okay, so you're going to run up. Okay. So we'll say you're able to, with your full movement, you run all the way up and you are on the same level as it. And you can see it's like, and it's just wildly shooting at anything that moves nearby. Okay, Octavia and Sonica, what do you want to do?
Ooh. I'll also move up.
Okay. Okay, so you run up. So you now you are on the same level with it. Sounds good. Sinenka, what do you want to do? You saw both Octavia and Vice.
not above
Vice, for
it,
some
or-
reason, got naked. I don't know why, but the two of them ran up, and they're on the same level as this turret. Sonika, what do you want to do?
I am also going to get closer, and I am going to ready my spear. Kind of as I get closer, I'm looking for somewhere to throw this spear that is going to do some damage and interfere with the functioning.
All right. Are you you're just following them? Is that all you're doing?
Yeah, I just flavored it a little bit more.
Okay. So you follow them. Well, yeah. I just needed to know whether you were taking like the ladder route, the stair route, or some other thing that you wanted to do. What's your range on your spear?
The spear is 30-60.
30-60. Okay. I'll give you the 60. So I'm looking it up right now for you. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so you can go ahead and throw it, but it will not do any shock at this distance if you try to throw it from here.
Okay.
Okay. So it's up to you. You can hang on to it and wait until next round to close the distance.
Yeah,
And
I'll do that.
okay. So then it will go ahead and it will fire as it begins to, you see it just, and it will fire at each one of you. Okay. Let me go ahead and, again, I'm just using the cave bear thing. I'm not really using the cave bear, but it's just something I had up. So you're not getting attacked by a bear again. Yeah. Okay. So I'll even go ahead and rename it. Instead of it being bite, it's going to now say pew pew. All right. So first pew pew at Octavia, we'll say. Octavia, does a 13 hit you? It does not. And if I recall correctly, you are immune to shock damage. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Second is going to go after Vice. Does a 26 hit you, Vice?
Oh my gosh.
It might be a little bit. Yeah.
That's going to be 8 points of damage as all of you are watching as this glowing reddish light beam just right down the walkway, and you see it just cut right through one of the exterior bone protrusions on like Vice's now exposed shoulder, and you can see just fragments of now particleized bits of his bone now are just falling down like little dust onto the walkway itself. That hurt.
How does his little thing play into that
Magical or
thing?
anything at all?
Was it I mean, it's technological in some way. Yeah.
Okay. If it's not like explosive flame or magical, then I just take the damage.
It would be like fire damage if we're talking specific type, like elemental. Like it would be elemental fire is what you would be taking.
If it's fire damage, then I don't think I take
He's
it.
immune.
Okay, then you're immune, yeah. But it still happens, so shut up.
Okay.
Because it was a cool
Yeah,
description.
sure.
It just doesn't hurt you. Shut up. All right, and then finally, Sinenka. Is a
His
15
second
hit you?
flesh wound.
15 is exactly my AC.
And you instead, as a laser comes out and shoots you, unless someone wants to nullify that too. As it shoots you,
Nope.
and yeah, you can see that you got a little bit of a flesh wound across your leg, and you can see one of your packs is kind of quickly set on fire, and you just quickly pat it out. But as you're looking, you see this huge gash now along your thigh where a laser beam just kind of cut through it. All right.
Yeah, I can't take too many more of those.
You guys are 60 feet away from this thing. You're basically 60 feet away. It is your turn. What do you want to do? And it had the ability to attack all of you. It's firing like tons of shots, like it's firing randomly, spinning around. Yeah, there's gonna be bears everywhere. Okay.
I'm gonna move up and throw my spear.
Okay, you move 30 feet, throw your spear. Go ahead.
Yes.
So.
That doesn't work. You need a GTFO.
$13.
Unfortunately, as your spear hurtles through the air, the blade clinking against the ancient ceram metal, or whatever this is composed of, doesn't seem to do anything as it falls limply onto the crosswalk. Just clink, 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 clink.
Can I do anything cover-ish?
Well, you moved up. That was 1, and then you
Yeah.
attacked. That was 2. So you don't have anything else, as
Okay.
far as I know. Yeah, anything significant, that is. Like you can do like, free action shout or something like that. That's fine.
I'd like to use
All right.
just my action as well for movement.
Okay.
So like little double 60 feet if possible.
Okay. Roll eyes as a free action. So you're gonna get right up on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're and you're hearing as these various creatures are getting shot out of the air, flopping down to the ground, like it's raining birds all of a sudden. And then Octavia, what do you want to do? You are muted.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
I would like to commit action or effort
Mm-hmm.
to. This is what I would like to do. I would like to fly up high enough, and then so I can war form as I'm falling down, and I want to be like a human wrecking ball, like Hulk smash land onto the thing.
Gotcha.
Oh.
I don't think you can do all of that in one turn, but I think
No,
you can.
that's
I don't think you
why-
can do the smash, but you can do the
But
starting
I can
arc
do
on
the
this
prep.
turn.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm
Yeah,
just
for sure.
That's what
So-
I'm thinking.
Leap up in the air, and you're
It's
in your
like my-
transformation. Okay, I like
Yeah.
it. Okay, fair enough. It's gonna go again, and it's going to pew pew at everybody. So, Vice. Not that it matters. 22 to hit Vice. Sonica. As Pew Pew comes in, misses you this time, Sonica. However,
does.
it does do 6 points against AC 13. Okay.
Nope.
For shock damage. And then finally to Octavia, AC 15. Okay. So it's just pew, pew, pew. Some of them they're missing, some of them they're hitting you, but they're not quite hitting you guys like in a place that would actually hurt you. You can see your clothes, maybe anything baggy gets singed by one of these shots. Some of those around are not as lucky. Like Octavia, you're running past and you leap over top of a woman who's like kind of cowering behind what looks like a very large wide beam that's being used to keep the rafter held up. Vice, you ran right past like this small little group of now like de-winged little reptilian birds. But and some of them are getting shot, but it's back around to you. Vice, you're right up next to this thing. What do you want to do?
Just hop down right on it.
All right, go ahead and roll your attack.
Maybe not attack, but maybe get this thing under control.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Like some sort of crap, maybe.
Okay, yeah, you're close enough where I think that could be work. You want to try to like literally do something that might muck up the situation.
Yeah, either like deactivate or like understand how it works and turn it off.
Okay. We'll do intelligence and craft. I'll say this. If you can get a DC, if you can hit DC 10, you can do both in one turn. Like figure out how it works and like sabotage it on one turn. If it's an 8 or then you're basically you're gonna have to spend extra time essentially. That's a 9 on your roll. Yeah. Do you want to re-roll that?
I think it's fine as is.
Okay. Yeah, so like it takes you a little bit longer. You're looking and looking, you're looking for panels. It's moving around so fast. Firing like crazy. And eventually, it takes you a little bit longer, but you see, like, on one of its sort of under panels, it seems fairly weak. You see some wires that are hanging down. You can potentially rip those out, get into that panel, and kind of mash up what looks like it's power connectivity. Octavia, you smash down. Do you just want to Hulk smash this thing?
Yeah, I was wondering what I should do for that to roll.
Just roll your attack. You should have those claws or something, I think, built as an item in your character sheet. Taking a look. You do not. Okay. Oh, you still have that war axe too that you never use. I'm so glad I gave you.
Yeah, I was debating. I was like,
war axe.
I don't know if I can use that while I'm falling, but
So
that would be cool if I can.
Is this Savage Talons? Is this what you're doing?
No. Well, I did manifest wings, and
Okay.
then basically like Savage Talons as I fall down.
Okay,
But, like,
and
more
you have
form,
enough.
so I'm
You have enough that you
fucking
can.
big.
Do you have to commit for both of those?
We'll change form. I have enough for 2, so.
Okay,
I
if you have
guess I'll
enough for
have
2,
to
then
do.
you're fine. Yeah, if you have enough effort for 2, that's fine. Yeah, you can do them both. Okay, but then you can go into war form.
Yeah, so I'll have to just do Savage Talons and manifest wings.
Okay, so you manifest your wings, you coast up into the air, and then you like dive bomb into this. Roll Savage Talons. So you can use Strength or Dex as your modifying attribute. Punch is the combat skill, and you have a shock value of 2 against AC 13. Actually, no, you're level 4, so it would be shock value of 3 at AC 15. I'm sorry, shock value 3 at AC 13 still. All right, so go ahead and just roll an attack with one of your weapons, and I can derive it. It's fine.
Okay.
So she coasts up in the air, starts coming down, talons out. Vice is like underneath it, like he's an auto mechanic. Like, yeah, I see your problem right here. It's your brake pads are what's making the noise. And then all of a sudden, boom, smash! As this huge creature just starts hacking away at the top armor casing of it. 15 is exactly enough. It will hit, and let's see, total damage is 6 damage. That is not enough to destroy it, but you kind of rip apart the top, and you can see that it kind of slows it down ever so slightly. And in terms of game mechanics, that means it's going to get 1 fewer shot this round.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And then Senenka, what do you want to do?
So Senenka's going to come up the rest of the way, and it's a little bit sort of the Office Space printer scene, but a punch.
Okay.
That's
You
what
have,
she's gonna
yeah,
be
you
doing.
threw your spear. Okay. You're just going to punch it? Okay. You
Yep,
walk up.
yep. Unarmed attack.
Yeah. That part when Michael Bolton just like grabs and just he starts hitting that fax machine.
Yep.
Or is it a printer? I can't remember.
21.
PC load letter. What the fuck does that mean? 21 to hit is good. 2 points of damage. Not as good.
Can I use one of those rerolls to reroll the damage?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so roll a
so
d8.
1d8. All right.
Yeah, 1d8. Okay, that's a little bit better. Still, it's not enough to do the same thing that Octavia already hit. So it doesn't hit its next tier of shots. So it will get 2 shots out at the 2 of you. I will roll who doesn't get hit. So this is who
Plus
doesn't
2
get
shock
hit.
damage.
It doesn't add.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's just whatever's higher. So it looks like Senenka is the one who's not going to get shot this round. All right. I have too many windows open right now. All right, Pew Pew against Vice. 20 to hit. Again, this would be fire. This basically would be the equivalent of fire elemental damage. So if your thing's still up, you're good. You're immune to it. And then Octavia, 15. Still no good. So yeah, ineffectual as this thing's firing, and it's maybe the issue is now it's like it's trying to rotate. You guys are so close, and the turret can't quite around. Like the actual cannon itself can't quite get the perfect angle, and you all are managing to kind of keep within such a close proximity that it can't quite get a good shot at you. But it's still just killing all these poor innocents that are just falling down from the sky.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
back to you all. Vice, go ahead and roll a craft test again. And as long as you get 8 or higher, we can say you effectively remove another one of its shots. Yep. So you managed to start. You're just kind of pulling and smashing the under panel, and you can hear some of the power. Like there's a significant power drain that's happening. You see there's some kind of battery housing underneath, and you're kind of ripping and ripping away, and you can see it beginning to like herk and jerk a bit as it's not moving as quickly. It's essentially down to one shot now. Octavia and Sinenka, do you want to continue to smash this thing?
Yes.
Go for it.
Oh no.
14 is a miss.
oh, that
Can
damage.
I-
Shock damage, unfortunately, is not going to be effective against this
I
metallic
reroll?
housing thing. Of course, yeah.
Okay. We've got one left after that.
Thank you, Captain.
15,
15 is enough, and 10 is enough to destroy it, actually.
Nice.
So describe how you destroy it here.
So you, because remember when we were in that one place where we first saw like the light people that we were attacking, and Octavia's like, you know what? There's these big balls of light, and I know how to fix things, and that's by beating it repeatedly. So she'll do kind of like what she did before, where she like rips off a panel, and she just starts like pulling out the guts, the inside, and just like any cords and stuff, and just throwing them behind her. So like there's like cords and stuff raining down probably on top of Vice.
They're falling down the rafter all the way down to the dock at this point. And Vice, you realize that, like, God dang it, if you would have just let me disable it, it would have been so valuable. But because she like wrecked it, you will not be able to salvage this as a piece of ancient tech. You can salvage it as like scrap, which is, you know, useful too, but not as useful because she just smashed away. But what Vice was doing, which is sort of like disabling some of the wires and the paneling underneath,
Yeah.
could have potentially allowed you all to like take this piece back and have like an actual functional turret if you could dislodge it from the sidewall here.
Which that could have been so cool for
Yeah.
Vice's thing.
Yeah, but this was so vengeful because of all of the death and
Yeah.
destruction that it
Yeah.
caused.
Thanks to all the Twitch, we got three more
Surgical
rerolls.
strike.
Surgical strike, right? Okay, so you look around and you can see that Octavia and her hulking giant, I guess she's not in her war form, but she's got her wings are extended, her claws out. She looks like a veritable monster.
Yeah.
And because of this, I'm just gonna roll a tiny little test here, really
Oh, to
fast,
see if I terrify the
just to see if
master?
you terrify some people.
No.
Yeah, you do.
Counterproductive.
Not all of them, but a few people who look up at you. Some of them you might think have imbibed perhaps recently. Maybe they're one of the locals at the Salty Quadruped up in the Liftwater Circle. Like, oh my God, we're being attacked! Ah! And they just start running away, screaming really, really loud towards where the Hollow Cliff apartments are in the side of the wall. Others are around, and you can see are severely wounded. But yeah, only a few. Only about 4 people run away, Octavia. The rest are just like,
This
thank you.
hurts me. She just wants friends.
Maybe don't look like a monster. Just saying.
You know,
It's on
it
you.
can't help how you look. Jeff.
What? Plastic surgery?
In these times? Okay.
What? This is like advanced tech. What are you talking about? They're shooting laser beams that hurt people. What are you talking about?
I work
You've
with
seen robots running around.
rocks. I'm an apprentice to stone. Okay.
Still no cult of a game. We'll get there one day. We'll
Aw.
get there.
I know.
So Nenka's gonna
I'm the worst cult leader.
try having a conversation with them.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
think
you
it's
see
gonna
some.
go
No,
well.
there's folks all around. So what are you doing? Like as you see that there's some injured people that have been shot. What are you doing? You're just trying to talk to them. Like what are you saying when you walk up to these people?
It seemed as if you were in a bit of need of some support.
Oh,
Just giggling in chat.
I'm just I'm just laughing at my own inside joke right now. Don't worry about it. It's not important. But they look up and they say, "Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Are any of you healers?" Oh. And you can see like they're holding like a spot where they got shot, like right around their chest, like just off to the side of where, like on the right side away from where their heart would be. You see a human. It's like this very, very tanned human. Please, it burns. It burns so
Yes.
much.
Let me take a look, and I can offer you the blood god's blessing.
And they look up at you like horrified, like, the what? As you kneel down, roll a medicine there. What's it called? Not medicine. Heal. Thank you. Roll a heal test. You can do. I actually think a mental one would probably give you more information than like a dexterity, if that's what you were thinking of doing. Okay. All right. You go to lean down to help them. And you notice that where the wound is, you can see that it's spreading. Like whatever this hit, it seems to be like just spreading outwardly, as if like the flesh around the wound is just like almost pixel by pixel, piece by piece, is just sort of dissolving each step of the way. It's just like very, very slowly, but as you're watching it, and like each time it does, it kind of lights up into this like kind of glowing, kind of pinkish red, like as it glows, and then just dissolves away, like it's like a cigarette burning down.
I will attempt to heal it.
Yeah, you're probably a little bit concerned at this point, but with a 12, you probably kind of scramble through some of your packs, whatever you might have, and find some kind of like acting reagent to somehow counterbalance that spread. But it's more of along the lines of like you've just sort of stabilized. You're not sure if you've halted whatever this sort of disintegrating or dissolving laser is doing. But maybe you have some sort of fancy gizmo. You just like plop it down, and it's just like a stasis patch that might slow the spread of this. But whatever this is, like this, it's continuing to harm them. And you can hear everybody around is just like beginning, they're slowly beginning to feel worse and worse and worse.
This is only a temporary fix, but it should do for now.
It hurts so bad. Oh. And then you can see there's other people who are asking for the same thing. So reaching up.
Sonenka wants to look at her leg because she got hit by this thing.
Yeah, you look down, and it's happening to you as well, as you see your wound is ever so slowly just beginning to just spread and spread and spread. Fortunately, yours was like more of a flesh wound area. It doesn't seem it's painful, but it doesn't seem to be immediately life-threatening. But
So let me ask you a question.
yeah,
Would you consider what's happening to me to be in the category of either a disease or a poison?
poison. I would accept that. Yeah.
Okay. Then what I am going to do is I'm going to kind of step off to the side a little bit.
Oh my gosh! And she falls all the way down to the top.
Well, I guess I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, there you go.
My wings. I'll
The
take it.
end.
Problem solved.
Okay.
So I'm going to, kind of do my little kind of like rub my hands together and kind of put it on the wound area. So I am committing effort for the day. Yes, exactly. I'm committing effort for the day for purified body, which cures any disease or poison currently affecting me.
Yeah, that actually will help, and you will notice as you look down that slowly that like glowing red disintegrating bit seems to eventually die out. It makes the initial wound, which was just like a very slender cut, has now kind of grown to be a much larger welt, but you're able to keep it intact. It does seem that your ability has worked the way intended.
All right, I will share that with Vice for whatever it's worth. It takes a little bit of magic to take care of this.
Or some sort of like anti-toxin type thing, you would imagine.
Gotcha.
So
I have anything like that on me, so
okay,
only direct them to where to get help.
okay,
Visit our temple, and you'll be cured.
okay. So one of them,
That's a far.
one of them's like, "Thank you." Picks up their leg, throws it over their shoulder, and just starts hopping the rest of the way. Thanks. Go to the hospital. Got it. Thanks. You're big help, guy. Okay. All right.
Where is the nearest like hospital?
Well, Vice would know. Vice would know. So you guys are on the western side. There's what's it called? Your
Before
friend's
you get the directions
medicals.
to the hospital, you've got to get the pamphlet on.
There's the herbal remixers, which might have some kind of like antitoxin type thing that could potentially be used. There's Myers Medical, which is yeah, those are all to the east. Those are over in the Ricker district, so they're at least a district over. So you have to go all the way through like this one district here and then get to the next one to find it. It's you know, about half an hour.
How's communication work? Is there like long distance, like quick?
Yeah. There are these bird people who deliver these messages and things like that, but there are some people who have ancient tech like walkie-talkies and things like that, but it's a specific item and not everyone has them.
I'll see if I can just like quickly service these bird people to like deliver messages.
Okay. So you kind of go
like an
over
emergency service, sort of.
Okay. Some of them are the ones that are hurt, but you kind of flag a few down that are still flying and they pop down and you explain the situation. Go ahead and roll a convince. But this will be super easy. This is going to be a 6 you need. Roll convince with charisma because like it's just a question of whether you can convince them to leave their friends and their neighbors who have just been attacked to go get help, or if they want to stay and try to futilely help them. So if you can roll a 6 or better, you're good.
I think the pop probably were just.
Exactly. There's resistance. So with a 6, there's you succeed. There's definitely resistance. They don't know who the hell you are, but they did just see you help. And when they look at some of their friends, some of their neighbors, like they kind of squawk at you, and you hear this sort of broken series of like nouns and verbs, but not like a syntax that is consistent with somebody who is maybe a sort of a natural speaker of language. But yeah, you see them just suddenly start to crawl. Like I said, these huge wings, but their bodies are fairly small, and they have these claws that are built into the undersides of their wings, and they start kind of climbing up super quick. You would say the speeds at which they climb might even surpass the speed of that lift that you were on, and eventually, they're out of sight, and you can't see them, and you imagine they kind of get up to where they need to go. But yeah, they started to go.
Anyone who's like really close to death, or like in critical need of healing?
Yeah, there's some dead bodies up here. I mean, there's people who have died from this. Probably the first people who were hit, people who've seen this kind of this spreading of wounds. But yeah, there's a few. Roll a heal test though, Octavia.
Oh, to like know. Oh god.
Mm-hmm.
I got
to
the
be able
idea of just
do
chucking
trauma.
these bodies off the cliff as a distraction for the dock workers.
I like where your head's at, buddy.
7.
7's enough to be able to kind of pinpoint one or two more. You're able to kind of maybe take Vice's lead, and all you're really doing is slowing the spread of it until someone can activate some sort of reagent that kind of counter the spread. Like all you're doing is just sort of delaying and delaying and delaying.
Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering, because I have the numbing water still, so I was wondering if I just like splash some of that on the wound, if that would help with the pain.
That would certainly help, and I would say that would probably even have the effect of sort of like kind of retarding the spread. So it's like slowing it down. Absolutely.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Just imagine this big hulking goat person with my wings still out and my claws, and I just come over and I like crouch above them, and I've got like I'm holding this small jar with just like the tips of my claws, and I pull off the stopper and I like splash a little bit on there and I close it, and I'm like and I can just keep going.
Okay. So they're terrified and scarred for the rest of their life. But
Now time to ask for a favor.
now what would you like to do? Is you now have access to the holoclips if you want to have access to them. But there's a lot of people up here that are currently licking their wounds, and so to speak. What do you want to do? Big hero.
Yeah, I guess we can survey from up here now. Like, different point of view.
Yeah, you are roughly 150 feet-ish, give or take, above the warehouse below. There are lights down there that illuminate parts of the docks for sure. You can certainly see that somewhere, there's.
I splurged on that spyglass, Jeff.
Yeah, you look down. Yeah, if you look down, you can definitely tell that there's like kind of vents and not so much chimneys, but like vents and stuff like that. Probably some form of like an HVAC system. I'm not sure if all of you are like humanoid size, right? None of you are particularly small, right?
Right.
It takes some squeezing possibly, but there's also windows and such. So it's like a story and a half, 2 stories high. More like one large building, perhaps with like a second story rafter wrapping around it, as opposed to like a 2-story, 2 separate, completely separate levels. It's a warehouse, it's for storage.
Mhm.
So there's you can see there's potentially ways inside from above.
If we observe for a little bit while we're chilling up here, maybe while Vice is like giving aid to people.
I'm not giving aid, but you can continue.
No, but like when you were earlier, like to the first guy, like if I was just like chilling with my spyglass.
No,
is
because
there,
that's not what you were doing. You were searching around to try to help people and rubbing numbing salt.
Okay.
So now you're doing something else. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So what if can we watch to see if there's like a dark like section where I wouldn't be easily noticed when flying, and I can like drop
Okay.
people on the roof?
You want to
If
find if
that's
there's
okay.
a place on the roof that would be better to land than others. You can certainly do that, but in terms
Okay.
of like going down, at
'Cause-
any point in time in the 150 feet decline, there's the
Mhm.
potential for someone to see you.
Okay.
So what we could do is you could take off first, take kind of a wide berth, and then we could do what Vice said, which is drop some of the bodies down onto the dock area so that you've kind of already taken off before they start to look down and then look up, and then you would kind of like be behind them.
That, or I don't know, we can just do what we were originally going to do and climb down. And then when we get closer, I can launch up and bring one of you guys and land on the roof.
Yeah, I like that. Somehow get on the roof.
We just need to be sneaky at this point.
Okay.
Throw all the bodies.
So while you're
Chuck them
observing,
down. It's raining bodies.
I want to go around to like the deceased and the carnage and see if people like recognize there are missing people, and if they're not like reclaimed or noticed, I'm gonna just collect those bodies and start chucking them over the cliff.
Okay. Okay. So you want to see if there's like people whose bodies haven't, like, no one's like mourning them or helping them. Okay. All right. Yeah, there's like a good, 5 people or so. When I say people, I'm using that really broadly. It could also be the small families of these swarms of sort of like lizard bat like creatures like that are flying all about. But yeah, there's a few for sure. So you're just gonna start chucking them over?
I'm gonna collect their bodies and oh, they're slipping. Oops.
Sure. All right, I'm gonna roll something. Don't worry about this.
Always do.
Okay. Immediately, somebody up here is like, "What are you doing, you monster? What's wrong with you? Oh my god!" As they start screaming at the fact that you're checking these. But I rolled 11 on my awareness for that.
Oh man.
So, in my notice.
Just giving them proper passing. They've
Like, "You monster! "You monster! Help! He's throwing these bodies up!" And it's like so this figure starts running towards the Hollow Cliff Apartments and is like shouting, "Help! Help! Help!"
It's time to go.
So much for trying to get their assistance.
They've done enough. They've been abused.
I like to think that Octavia just wasn't turned the right way, and she's like, "What happened?" Because I don't think Octavia would be cool with throwing people.
It's only the dead. It's only the dead ones,
Yeah,
right?
I'm
It
not
was only
grabbing
the
these
dead
guys.
ones, right?
Yeah, it's only
Okay.
those. I'm not grabbing the live people.
One of them starts screaming. He's, "I'm fine, I'm fine." Well, he's dead now. Okay. You find the old ladies, the 4 old ladies, and just throw them over like Ashley does. And you just see like the Warder Bros like dust of smoke at the very bottom where they finally hit. Okay. Vice isn't checking pulses. He's like, "Oh, this one looks dead." It's awful. Okay, what do you want to do with this now? There's a little bit of a commotion as some people are running away horrified. Others are still remaining here, kind of wounded, waiting for help to return. You've just thrown 5 bodies over that have landed somewhere down by the docks in the warehouse. What do the 3 of you want to do?
This is an opportune moment. We got to get down there somewhere.
Yeah, like those service stairs or whatever you were mentioning.
Yeah, you were on them. Like you were. It's like you're basically on them, and they go all the way down. They're rickety and loud and stuff like that. So you can run down them, no problem.
I guess that's what we're doing.
Okay, all right. And are you flying down, Octavia, or are you just gonna kind of stay
I'm gonna
with the
walk
group?
down with them and stay with the group until we get closer.
Okay. Why don't you all roll? Wasn't one of you roll a sneak test for the group? Someone who wants to lead the way on this. I think Vice did it last time. So yeah, go ahead and do it.
All right.
And we have rerolls if we need it.
Okay, I've rolled my notice test. I know what you need to beat.
Mine's coming through.
Okay.
11.
11, pretty good.
All right. You move as fast as you can. Those of you with decent sight, with decent vision, you can see that some of the bodies kind of landed on the roof, and some of the bodies landed on the docks. And you can see that some of the Huskborg are trying to lend assistance, and one of them's just like kind of kicking it. Hello, kind of like looking down at it. And they don't seem to be paying attention to the auxiliary stair that's going down. And you manage to get all the way down, essentially, towards the docks itself. And so you managed to get all the way behind, like right up against the cliff face. You can, like, the last flight of stairs or so is kind of rickety. You can see it's kind of coming off the walls a bit. It's making a lot of noise. But it looks like there's a bit of a commotion as like one of the guards that was like patrolling around seems to be like trying to help somebody who fell and doesn't seem to realize that they're dead. Another one you can see is sort of look like one of the guards by the warehouse is kind of looking up at the roof like, "I think I heard something up there," and they're like arguing over whether or not they should climb up. So you are currently in the shadows at the base of the cliff. You don't think that they've noticed you come down. What do you want to do?
Keep staying in the shadows and moving forward while they're distracted.
Yeah, but more than that, I need to know, like, where are you trying to get in? Because there's a front door, there's the rooftop, like, what's your point of entry here?
So it seems like they might be distracted by this rooftop incident as well. So maybe just going through the front door will work. If they get
Well, there's still guards at the front door. It's just like they're basically like they're looking up. They're standing at the front door of this warehouse and they're looking up to the up to the rooftop, saying that they heard something. Basically, is what they're doing. But they're still at their post. So
Try to get to the roof of the warehouse building.
okay, you want to get on the
that
roof.
sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Seneca and Vice, why don't you go ahead and just roll and exert. Octavia, you can quickly like fly up without a
I
problem.
can take one of them with me.
Okay. Seneca just rolled and she passed. So let's say you pick up Vice with an 8. 8 is fine. And you quickly scramble up the side of the warehouse up to the top of it now, and you can see that there is a body just utterly demolished on the top of this roof. It looks awful. It's this. You're not sure if it was a human specifically, and you're more convinced now that it certainly isn't, because it doesn't seem like there's red blood that's cascaded everywhere. It's some other kind of shade of like greenish blue that's spread all over. But they are most certainly dead at this point. You can see there's some cracking on the rooftop where it landed, but whatever the kind of building materials are, it hasn't kind of pierced through it at all. But yeah, you're up here. You can see there's a handful of like I said, like there's these little vents and pipes that are sticking up out of the roof. You're not sure if you can fit. I think Vice or Sonica are probably the smallest people.
Yeah.
Okay. I would probably allow for like an exert dex with like a DC 10 to squeeze through one of these vents. If you wanted to try to squeeze through a vent.
I've got a 0 on exert. How about you, Vice?
I have a -1. That's pretty rough.
All right. I'll give it a shot.
Okay. All right.
12.
Seneca, you're able to
Nice.
and you hit like, as you're kind of doing the whole John McClane through the vent thing, and you come to what looks like a grate that you can kind of kick out, and it falls, and you hear it rattle on the ground, and then you hear a couple voices, and then a handful of people are suddenly below you looking up. You don't recognize any of them, but there's a couple of humans, there's a couple of Nindarians. You see that there's kind of a creature that looks a little bit like Mag, the sort of the magma dwarf that you met when you were in the smoke tunnels below the city. But they look different. They're kind of this sort of blue-green tinting. Looks like they have chunks of coral and like shells that are kind of protruding here and there. But they're looking up as well. They're like, what the, who, what? And they all are very, very confused. A few of them have like fisticuffs up, ready to go. What do you say?
I'll basically just, kind of shush a little bit. Just say like, trying to get you out.
Like, really? Who sent you? And it's the dwarf who's speaking.
We're here
Barbara Osa.
on behalf of Barbara Osa.
Barbara. She sent you? I knew she wouldn't forsake us. Fellow friends, we are saved. Can you get us out of here?
Is there anything in here that you can get yourselves climbed up? We've created a little bit of a distraction, but it's not going to last long.
You look at them and like they're not all going to be able to fit through this vent. Just like Vice and Octavia. There's like Octavia there's no way she would get in through here, and it took you like, and it like you are super squeezing and tight that you don't think they'd be able to get through here. Some of them will for sure, but not all of them.
Do any of you have weapons?
And there's about a dozen in here, about 15 in total.
Do any of you have weapons on you, or did they take those?
They took them. They took everything.
Okay.
They brought us food, water, and that's it.
Are you able to get out the front door? Is it barred or just guarded?
Barred and guarded, yes.
Well, you can overtake them. There's 4 of us and many of you. If we can get you some weapons.
They're Husk and Falsus.
Jeff, you said there's like a walkway around? Are there windows?
No, I was saying like probably on the inside, like on the inside is what. Yeah.
But are there windows alongside that walkway?
Yeah. There's a couple here and there. They're not very big. They're kind of more rectangular and not very tall. You're not sure looking at them whether they open or whether they're just like paned into the wall itself. But people could probably get out of there. It probably has a little bit more room than coming through the vents potentially, but it's a little harder to reach because it's like high up on the wall, and so it's like anyone who goes out of it is like falling like a good 12 feet to the ground.
Well, I was wondering because I can fly for so long, like if I could be there and help lower people down, if that's a thing.
Okay, I mean, like The only thing is like you guys can't communicate with each other right now. So everything that Sonica is seeing and doing right now, just remember that's not information that you all have yet. So what are you doing, Sonica?
I am going to toss weapons down to them.
Okay. How many do you have?
I have 3 daggers, a throwing blade.
Okay. So you throw your 3 daggers and a throwing blade down to this group of people, and they look up at you like, "We thank you for your help, but 3 daggers and a throwing grenade against a huddle of Husk forces? Are you out of your mind? They'll slaughter us in a moment."
Do you all have a different plan for your escape?
We've been locked up. If we had a plan, we wouldn't still be locked up. I don't mean to sound rude, but you're not very good at this.
This is usually what we do. Oh, if I
Look, I'll put it this way: like, these are like, these are powerful. Like the Husk, they're huge. They're like 8-9 feet tall, and they're incredibly strong. Like, there's a reason why they're used as literal enforcers. So like, you would know that. I mean, could 15 people swarm them? Of course 15 people could swarm them, but like, definitely those two are like, if 15 swarm to these Huskers, they would easily take out a couple before going down without question. Like, it's just a question of how many. Like, maybe 4 or 5 would kind of get taken out before the overwhelming numbers would overwhelm them. Like, that's how strong these kind of guards are. These are things that you would know. So I guess things that both Octavia and Vice, they're very friendly and nice, but Octavia, you've been working with Stone. You see how powerful he is. He like, things that require you, who's quite strong, to like use a wheelbarrow for, to move one thing, he just picks up like it's nothing. So take that into consideration. Like, if overwhelming them was easy, then they probably would have done it by now.
I'll climb back through the vents.
Okay, you climb back up through the vents. You probably tell them that you'll be right back or something. Otherwise, like, what? I'm sorry, we didn't mean to tell you. As you climb back through the vents and get up to the roof. Okay, you're back up on the roof.
So what's the plan?
Imagine, I could picture Sinetka doesn't say anything. She just leaves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Screw these people.
Yeah.
The player, did you find them?
If only you had a working turret to point at the guards. It's a fair point. All right, so you're on the roof. They still haven't noticed you yet, but they also still haven't climbed up onto the roof.
How many
what do you wanna
Husk
do?
are around?
I'm sorry?
How many Husk are around?
You knew that there were 6 on the docks in total. 2 by the doors. There were 2 by the lift, and then there were 2 that were patrolling. One of those patrols is nearby, and they're the one kind of examining a body on the ground on the docks outside. So you know that there's at least 3 within immediate proximity, and then there's another 3 that are relatively close.
All right.
Sinetka, are you able to do like a vocal projection with your voice mod or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I can mimic.
Never mind then.
So we'll need a couple things here. You say there's a dozen men in there, and they're barred. First, we need to find out if that's easily openable, and then some sort of distraction to get all of them on board. It's going to be sort of a run for them, every man for himself. We're not standing and fighting. We're getting on the ship and taking it out.
Jeff, do we know if they're fine in the water? Like the
If
Iron
who's
Tilla?
fine? The Iron Tilla? What do you mean?
Like, would it hurt them? Like, because remember when we were talking about if we went in the water and we're like, you don't know what's in the water.
They're just
Oh.
people. Iron Tail is like the name of their faction. It's not a
Okay.
species. They're
But
just
the fact
like
that they're
they're
covered in
yeah.
coral and stuff doesn't give them any.
That's just a specific species we have. That's
Okay.
all.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Just drop them in every now and then because it's fun.
You're thinking of taking them all underwater.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll just
You
pull
could.
them out and drop them in. Like, here you go, y'all.
You can
That
see how they
was a
think about that,
consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can let
Well,
them
I mean,
know.
you would know that they're all like sailors and pirates and merchants and stuff. So if they're serving on a ship, likely they are aquatically trained.
So Sonnen could give them those two options, whatever they find best. Give us a signal. We'll have Octavia cause some sort of distraction, and we'll just go for it.
Okay, so the two options are they unbar themselves, which they don't appear to have been successful at doing.
Oh, we can give them a hand. Like we can check out how the door's being blocked.
Well, and Octavia will also suggest her option of like getting the window thing open and then just dropping people into the water and like helping lower them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So why don't you go ahead, Octavia, roll a craft test on looking at this window, seeing if they're like kind of a functional way to open it in a quiet manner that wouldn't necessarily, raise alarm.
Wisdom craft
Yeah, that's fine. And I'm just looking for a 6. Like it's not a hard
or
test.
intelligence?
Yeah, I guess intelligence is fine.
That's craft. Okay. Ooh, 4.
Yeah. You want to reroll?
We have
Uh,
a-
We got a couple more. Too old to twitch
4.
the rest of them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank,
Thank you, everybody.
12.
Ooh.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, you're pretty sure that there's a mechanism on the inside that could probably open them. Is when you're looking carefully, you can see that it's basically just like a series of kind of gears and cranks on the inside that, if they're used, and could probably open this up. It doesn't look like they've been opened recently. Like they might have been kind of kept closed for a long time, but they certainly can be opened. You don't have to break them.
Okay, cool. So then I'll like relay that to Sinenka to let them know.
Okay. So, Sanenka, you're going back inside. You're telling them that you're going to get them into the water.
Basically, that they have two options. That either they can kind of come out the window and go in the water, or we can try to finagle a way to go out the door and get on the ship.
Okay, so there's basically two things that you guys need to figure out. You need to figure out how do you get them out of the warehouse, and how do you get them onto the ship. Those are the two things that have to happen, right? So out of the window gets the first thing answered. That's how you get them out of the ship.
Yeah.
Or out of the warehouse. The second thing you still have to figure out is how to get them onto the ship, because between where the warehouse is and where the ship, the kind of the hatchway that gets onto the ship, they will very much be seen. Like they can be seen by anybody who's on the docks, like anybody by the guards and stuff like that. It's not even a question. It's not even a roll. Like they would be seen. So
is
It's-
the ship's like
yeah.
anchored or is like ladder sort of thing? dangling on the
so
side?
if you recall, this is more like a submarine.
That'll be alright.
Okay, if you recall, and like there's a hatch that'll go down into it. Sonika, you've looked kind of down into that hatch and you saw like sort of the entrance point, which is like a stair that goes down, but you couldn't really see much more than that. But that's the way that seems to go in. And so that's what's kind of moored against the docks.
Well,
So question one, I mean, issue 1 is answered. Crank these windows open. Someone's on the outside to catch them as they climb down without like making too much noise, and you're good to go. Night, Steve. Thanks for hanging out, man. So you got so it's just question 2 now.
Yeah, if they're all in the water here, how difficult is it to get on the ship?
So you could hop into the water and then sort of swim the full length of this submarine to get kind of around to the front and then kind of climb on. So it would be a swim of somewhere in the neighborhood of like 60 to 100 feet or so. So they could potentially hop into the water. Yeah. It's not hard to do.
Yeah, kinda like-
that
I like
that
that.
would be a roll. Like I would basically
Yeah.
roll to see if anyone notices them. It's
That
not
might
an
be
automatic though.
better than just like running randomly
What if
on the dock.
Seneca
Yeah, I would
and
agree.
Vice, like, could they jump into the water? Like, if we get the like a back window open?
You
Or
can
is-
it's more of a side window. So it's like
It's a
think of
side,
like the
okay.
long side of the warehouse kind of can hop down and then they can go immediately into the water thereafter.
So then, what if, I mean, it'll be really obvious, but if once people get near the ship, like I can fly up and like maybe we can find some type of rope or something and attach a rope up to the top so they can start climbing up
Hmm.
instead of having to swim around to the other side.
They're gonna have to swim around to the other side because that's where the entrance is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's how you, I mean like so think of it like if like the submarine's backed in, right? Like think of it's like
Got it.
backed into a
Okay.
parking space, and
Yeah.
so like you guys are gonna start swimming at the rear of the parking space all the way around to the front,
Got
which
it.
is the only there's only exit, there's only entrance point that there seems to be.
Can I
Um,
ask a question about how things are lighted down here? Are they like lanterns or? So, like,
yeah, it's not. It's the equivalent, but yeah, you can see that there's various like street lamps and stuff like that that are scattered about the docks. So there's pockets of darkness and pockets of light.
Yeah. So are those lamps like flamer at all, or is it just like light, like actual bulbs and stuff?
It's like
My
bulbs.
question. Bulbs.
Yeah, it's more like bulbs.
Because I was wondering, like, to cause some sort of distraction, I could literally get doused in this ocean that's supposed to be like full of oils and just like light myself on fire and just run around the docks.
Because it's not going to hurt you because you've
Yeah,
got the thing.
exactly.
I mean, we could just like create a natural survival spark and
Yeah,
light
yeah,
you on fire.
Okay, yeah. That sounds
I
good.
love that idea.
So while they're swimming, I'm just gonna run around on fire.
Oh my god. So you have fear no flame, is that what it is again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're immune to non-magical flame, smoke, or explosive damage, and decrease any sources of such magical damage that they take by 5. Okay, yeah. I think that can work.
All right.
Long, you're amazing.
Dear God. Every plan is going to degenerate into lighting Vice on fire now. I agree. Okay.
What's the plan after the distraction works? You're just going to go, we'll meet up with you later?
Yeah. Just get these guys out there.
Okay. All right. So I just want to walk through this again just to make sure I got everything figured out.
Okay.
Octavia, you're gonna be on the outside of the window helping them down.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Sonika, you're going back inside to kind of give them the info and tell them what they're doing. Once they're outside and they're ready to kind of like get into, they're gonna swim around to the front while Vice is doing his Burning Man run through the docks to help distract so that they don't see people swimming in the water. Sonika and Octavia, what are you doing once Vice is once Vice is running away?
I have a suggestion. Sonika, you have your bow and arrow, right?
I do.
Could you maybe try and shoot out the lampposts? Like break the light bulbs? So like that's another distraction that's happening. It causes darkness so that it's harder to see them as they're swimming in the water. And then Vice is on fire, so now suddenly he's the brightest thing on the docks, so he'll draw more attention. And then I can maybe be on the wings, like, and I help light Vice on fire, and then maybe I can be ready to either grab him or you and get you to the boat.
I
Perfect.
can do that.
Okay, so you're gonna
And
be on
maybe
the roof.
like Vice, if you're like yelling loudly, that can provide some cover too to me kind of
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
shooting out some of the lights.
All right, so Seneca, you're gonna be on the roof trying to snipe some of these lamps out. Got it.
Yeah.
Octavia, what are you doing? Can you clarify what you were doing too?
Well, I was planning on like maybe just being ready to get whenever we need to one of them over to the ship so that the people aren't by themselves on the ship. Because we know that those like centipede like things are on there, right?
Yeah, the robotic millipede things. Yeah.
Yeah. So either I would just go straight to the ship with the people, or fly one of either Vice or Sinenka over with me.
Well, you tell me. What are you thinking? Like, what's your intentions at the start? Are your intentions to go with them, or your intentions are to like wait in the shadows and then snatch like either Vice or Sonica?
I'll go with them. Yeah, because I don't want
Okay.
them to get
Okay.
ambushed. Yeah.
All right. Are you gonna swim with them, or are you just gonna try to coast over the water?
I'm gonna try and coast over the water.
Okay. Good to know. All right. So we're gonna say you put all of this into motion. Okay. So everyone's in their places. Octavia, you're outside the window. Seneca, you've delivered the message. You probably have some kind of countdown, like, and you go back up to the roof. You get into position. You take aim. There's 3 different lanterns in the area that would probably, or 3 different of these light posts in the area that you could potentially shoot that would help kind of darken the route towards the boat. Now, you start lowering. So everyone's like lowering people out the window, and so they're kind of on the side. And once they're there, Vice, take it away. Describe where you're starting from, what you're doing, and what it looks like for me, please.
I'm gonna start on the roof. I'm just gonna oil up my robes, clothing. Start a small fire. I start becoming a blaze, pretty much. I'll jump off this roof. Hopefully, it's not too high. And just pretty much scream, saying, "I just fell from the top of this cliff. Now I'm on fire!" And just scream my head off.
Okay. So you hop off the roof. Go ahead and roll an exert test really quick, because it's actually about 15 feet that you're dropping. Nice. So go ahead and roll that really fast. So great. Okay.
Taking a moment.
And then Seneca. Yeah, and Seneca, go ahead and roll an attack on the first of the actual lanterns that you want to attack, and see if you can hit it. AC 10 on it that you're gonna have to hit.
That's no.
Okay, you miss on your first attempt. So exert dexterity. Okay, let me just roll this. All right.
Do I want to use a reroll? What would I roll?
Weird. The chat doesn't seem to be working for my stream account login. Okay, so
it might be going through here.
Yeah, I got you. You got a DC 9. You're okay.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get the stream back up again, because the dice rolls weren't showing. Okay, so let me reset this, because it's kind of dulled. We've dulled it down a bit with our technical issues. Okay, so let's reset the scene. So Vice, you douse yourself in flames. You hop off this warehouse onto the ground, screaming like crazy. You manage to like kind of tumble and keep your balance, and then start running. And you're screaming, "Ah, I'm on fire! Ah, ah!" The Huskorg are like looking around like, "Whoa, what?" So the 3 that are in the immediate area look and are immediately paying attention to you. So that mission is accomplished. Sonika, you take aim, you fire at the first of the lanterns. Your shot goes wide, and an arrow plunks down into the water as it passes over top of it. Octavia, you start lowering everybody into the water bit by bit. Everyone's like hopping. You've already gotten them down. You've been waiting for like the screaming from Vice to pop up, and now that that's happened, they're hopping in the water, and you begin to coast across. Octavia, I need you to roll a sneak test, however, because you said specifically that you're staying above the water. So go ahead and roll a sneak test.
Dexterity?
That's fine.
Oh, no. 4?
Okay.
We have rerolls.
Yeah, you want to reroll that?
Yeah.
Oh no. That's the wrong direction for a reroll. Now it's a 3.
So as two of the warehouse guards step over towards Vice to be like, "Hold! You're not supposed to be here. Stop moving. Stop right
It's
now."
all burning.
And they're closing in on you at this point. The third one's about to join them, and then they notice something moving across the water, and they're like, "Hey, wait! What is that over there? There's a monster on the water." And then they're like, you see them pull like this long kind of pike out of the back, out of like what looks like some kind of holster in their back, and they kind of click on a little bit, and you see little bits of electricity kind of shoot up from the side, and they start. They get to the edge of the dock, and they point it at you, much like from Stargate, and they fire this like blue electrical arc in your direction. So this is at Octavia as they are trying to shoot you. 13 points, but that's or 13 AC. I mean, so that's not gonna hit you. No problem.
No.
Oh wait, nope. Sorry, it's a 15. It's not taking in my
Doesn't hit me.
bonus. Should have been a 15. Okay, but still doesn't hit. Let me see. Did they have their thing? However, they do have what's called. Oh no, it doesn't apply here. Damn it. Okay, they have shocking assault, but it doesn't apply to their ranged weapons. Okay, so it fires an arc of this blue electricity at Octavia, misses, and just lightens up the water itself. Sonika, you're up on the rooftop. You see this happen easily enough. Vice, roll a notice whiz to see if you notice that everything has immediately gone to shit as Octavia is getting shot at as she's coasting along the water now.
Can you scroll down on the stream dice rolls?
I can't.
Okay.
It is what it is right now. So
Okay.
everything's right. It should be updated at this point. Yeah, it's updated now.
Got a 7.
Okay. You do not. Well, I'll say yeah, you do. With a 7, you probably noticed that one of them didn't come towards you, and you hear some sort of a sound from behind you, as if something was fired. Maybe you don't know exactly what happened, but you know that one of them is not coming towards you. Maybe it's attacking Octavia. Maybe it's attacking one of the other people. Who knows? Okay. So then, with that all in place, one of them's going to come up at device and is going to try to like reach out and just grab you, just pure, like just kind of grapple, like just try to keep you from running away. So roll strength punch. So this is gonna be contested. If you're contesting it, if you're okay with them grabbing you, you can do that. But otherwise, roll a strength punch.
Yeah, I'll contest.
Okay. Wait a second. Why is that not working? Weird. Oh, there it is.
Strength punch? That was a whiz punch. If it matters.
It does matter.
Oh, it didn't switch over, but
Well, what's your strength?
-1. It did
Okay,
take.
so that's
I did
fine.
take
It would-
-1, but yeah.
It would be the same thing. It would be the same roll then. It's fine. So one of them reaches down and just grabs you like, "Hey, stop running. Ow. Why are you on fire?" Like really like trying to understand, why are you on fire? As they're holding on to you. They're like grabbing
I
onto
don't
you.
know,
Oh, this is hot. Okay. So you are grappled currently by this individual. They're not hurting you, but they're just holding on to you and
Yeah.
not letting you run around. Okay. Then we're gonna go back. Sonika, what do you want to do? You're up on the rooftop. You're looking at one of them is now firing at Octavia. One of them has already grabbed Vice, and you've missed your first shot. What do you want to do?
I think trying to get rid of the light around here would help everyone to make it darker. So I'm going to try again at one of the
Go right ahead.
14.
Okay, it will hit this time, and immediately the light that's right next to where the Husk that's firing in Octavia is shatters and goes dark, and you can see "What?" as he looks around, like what's going on at this point, and it sort of darkens the area a little bit, and plus it causes like this small little spark of explosion right above, which seems to distract him briefly. Octavia, what do you want to do?
The water's pretty dark and murky, right?
It's incredibly dark. You can
So I
occasionally see
think-
these colorful like little firefly lights pop up every now and then, but for the most
I
part,
think
it's
at
dark.
that point I would stop flying and I would get in the water to swim.
Okay, so you dive into the water. Gotcha.
Go into the water, but
Gauge
do
and
come out of the water.
Shark in the water. You dive in and you are immediately overwhelmed by what looks like this huge chunk or like this floating weed of some kind that begins to wrap around you as you dive in. Go ahead and roll an exert test. Probably con or strength would make the most sense here as the stat.
Could I do strength because I've got my talons still?
Yeah,
And like,
Of course. Yeah, either one of those is fine. This is more about just like your physical ability to push through this.
10.
Okay, 10's good. You can see that some of them starts to cling to some of your equipment, your clothing here and there. You feel a tiny bit of burning on your skin, but you manage to sort of rip free. But you realize that you're in this massive nest of it, and like from where you're at, like there's just these huge patches that you're swimming through. But you are in the water now, and you have not suffered any adverse damage at this point. Vice, this thing, he's got a really giant meaty paw right on your shoulder, and he's like, oh, and he's holding on to you. What would you like to try to do?
I think I'd like just to try and squirm away.
Okay.
This is burning, holding here. It's not helping.
Okay, so you want to try to break the grapple. So I think that's strength punch again. Let me double check. I believe it's strength punch. But if you're saying specifically you want to squirm, you can roll instead like dex punch. I'm fine with that too, if you're squirming. And so then I'll roll for them. Oops. I rolled a 7. But I'll re-roll it so that you can... 7's really low, actually, so I'm gonna keep it. Okay, you managed to squirm free, and now you have movement. Where do you want to run to?
It's the opposite direction of the sub.
Okay, so you're running deeper in towards the docks, so you're just like, see ya, as you start running away. What's your movement speed?
30.
Okay, you actually so slightly can outpace them. As you start running away. So the one of them, the one that grappled you, will chase you. So running after you like, hey, stop running. Drop, roll, you're on fire. As it's just shouting after you. The other one will stay back. I'm going to wait here. And so you can see they just stand right there at the front of the door, and like they just kind of wander back to their post. We were told to wait here. And then the third one, who is firing at Octavia, looks up and sees like this explosive, this kind of explosion of light and electricity above them. I'm gonna roll a notice whiz to see if they were able to see Sonica firing, and they see a figure. They look around and they say, hey, get off there. And they turn their pike in the direction now of Sonica, the darkness having settled across the water, and they can't actually see Octavia. And so they're going to, and they fire up at Sonica now. Why is that coming through incorrectly? It should be, hang on. No, that's wrong. It's a +5 attack. Okay, there we go. I don't know why I have the things entered in wrong. 16 AC.
How long has it been since we were up? Has it been an hour yet?
Probably not.
Damn it. Okay.
Even though it felt, I mean, it was probably pretty quick. Half an hour or so to do all this quickly, because you threw the bodies down and they were still inspecting the bodies. I don't think they would sit there just kicking the body for like an hour. Okay. They would probably get bored with that. You take 1 point of damage.
Okay.
From the shock.
Okay.
Yeah. And then roll a physical save. Okay. All right. Your hands, like, immediately go numb and you drop your bow. as you feel this weird like numbness take over you, and your arms just sort of like you're having trouble with keeping them. So basically you've been disarmed. Okay. So then it's going to come back around to you all. Octavia, you're in the water. You're swimming. Roll an exert test as you just try to swim, and I'll give you just one more to swim. And then Vice,
9.
this other one chases you, but couldn't get to you in one movement. So you're actually faster than them, and they have to use their second action to on movement to get to you. And so they do, but they can't do anything once they're there. So you actually will outpace them, assuming you don't do anything crazy or don't run into any of the other patrolling ones around here. 9's totally fine. As you continue to swim, you can see that you are not as fast a swimmer as the people in the Iron Tilla, plus they had a little bit of a head start, as they are well ahead of you. Sonika, what do you want to do?
So I'm trying to see if it's going to take me 2 actions to get this back, or just the 1.
I think it's gonna be basically you got to pick it back up.
Then I have to reload it.
Do you have any kind of ability that lets you do like a quick draw or something like that?
No, I do not.
Okay, then yeah, you can pick it up. You can take cover. There's various chimneys or like vents up here that you could potentially take cover behind while you wait.
I'll do that.
All right, sounds good. And then Vice, do you continue running?
Yeah, all I'm gonna do is run from him.
Roll a notice whiz, and let's see if you can try to get an eye on some of the other Huskorg that you can try to avoid that might be coming from different directions. Because remember, there's another patrolling one out here, and there's 2 more that are over on guard by the lift itself. Do you want me to roll it for you, or do you got it?
It's coming in.
Okay, 6. Okay, you can see that at a distance, it looks to you like there's still 2 over by the lift. You can see that it's lit. You can see them there. You do not have sight of the other one. You cannot find that other patrolling that's moving up and down and through some of the other buildings here and there that are on the dock. So you can't see that one. That one could be coming around any corner. There's also a couple other random people down here still that you see are like kind of slumming it out, or they're fishing, or they live down here, or they work down here, or something like that. But none of them seem to be giving you any like they're like, nope, you're on fire, you're good, you could, yep, this way. So it's not a problem. Okay, so I think then what we'll do is we'll move around to the Huskorg then, who will continue to sort of just chase after you. Like, no, stop, drop, and roll. You're running still. That's not helping. Get down, as they're shouting
again.
as they're shouting after you. And I think they're gonna yell off to the 2 that are guarding the lift, like, "Hey, he won't drop. Come help me drop." And then one of them's like, "Okay," and they start, and then one of them stays on position because they're very dutiful. Then the other one who's got like the pike will be like, "Hey, you up there, stop hiding and come down," and then fires at you. But we're gonna give you a +2 to your AC for hiding behind this pike. Actually, take a +3 actually, because you also have a little bit of the elevation here. We'll say.
It's me at 18.
Okay. I rolled a 25.
Well, shit.
I rolled a 1 again for damage. What is with me and damage? I tell you, man, I just can't roll damage. Take 1 more point of damage, and you picked up your bow, right?
Yeah, it's not a.
Yeah, go ahead and roll
yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead and roll a physical save to see if your hands like stop working again and you drop them. Okay,
17.
Maybe you're becoming a nerd to it somehow. But it still doesn't notice the splashing in the water. It's too kind of obsessed with this person who's up on the roof shooting at lights. Coming back to you all, Sonika, what do you want to do? One of them's shooting at you. You've got your bow.
I'm gonna stay hidden and reload, and then I'll be ready for next time.
Okay, you're not actually hidden. It knows where you're at, but you're gonna stay behind cover and reload.
Cover, yeah.
Well, you can reload and fire.
Reload is a main action. So
You
I'd
didn't-
pick it up
okay.
as a main action, reload as a main action, and the next time I'll be able to fire.
Well,
Okay.
bows can be reloaded as an on-turn action.
Yeah, on turn. That's what I thought.
Oh, Okay.
So
I was
you
gonna
can take a
come
shot
back.
if you
Otherwise,
want,
it takes your move action.
which you're not using this round anyway. So
The
I
only
think you're
thing
fine.
that requires the whole thing is crossbows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you moved into cover and you had to pick up your bow last time, so that makes sense. But this time you can fire if you want.
I missed a 10.
You're firing at the guard. You're firing at this husk
No,
orc?
no. I'm firing at the light.
Okay, you're firing at the light. No, an AC-10 is good. AC-10 is what you need.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and it explodes. You can see it's just a light bulb. That's all it is. It's just a bowl. You fire, and the second one, he turns quickly and looks like, hey, who's down there? Stop shooting at things. And he's like looking around to see who made the other one explode. So now there's only one of the lights, one of the orbs is still actually glowing, and it's all the way down to the end of the dock, probably at your furthest range increment, Senenka, but it's like right where the entrance would be. And so if you could potentially knock that out, the entrance into the boat would probably be under darkness at that point, and it would time it pretty well with Octavia and the others that are escaping, like hopping up onto the docks. They would be in darkness at that point.
Okay.
Vice, you go ahead and roll a luck test as you continue to run around. It's pure luck to see if you run into this other one. That's all this is. So it's on your main page.
Hey.
It's
roll?
one of your saves.
You're on
Oh, here it is.
fire.
Did you know that you're burning right now? Okay.
We need to grab it.
You're running, and you look off to your right, and then you can see down at the end of one of this other extended dock. You can see another one's like kind of walking towards you, and it's and it sees you run by. This burning man running by, like, hey, and that's all you hear as he just passes by, and then moments later, he sees like this other Husker, hey, and then the Husker shouts him. He won't drop and roll, and like he should drop and roll, like, or jump in the water. Why doesn't he jump in the water? And they start having this shout back and forth as they're very confused why you're not doing this. But you're managing to outpace them still. You are, however, a significant distance at this point from your teammates and from the Iron Tilla boat. Okay. Sinenka. Octavia, you're still just swimming, right? Okay, if you're swimming, don't worry about it. You don't got to do anything else. He's too consumed with other things for you to have to roll a stealth or anything like that, and you've already passed your exert for the clingweed. So Sonika, do you fire at the last one?
I do.
Okay, this one's at kind of a range. What's your range on your bow here?
5,300.
I beg your pardon?
That's what it says.
5,300.
What?
That's what it says in the sheet.
5,300 what? Inches?
I don't know. It's just what it says.
That kid. What the hell? 5,300. No, it's 50 and 300.
Well,
50,
yeah,
30.
that's
Just okay. Basically, you're not going to do shock damage on this, but you can still fire. Go ahead and fire. You're
Okay,
within.
so
You're
it's more
within.
than
You're within
50.
range. Yeah, it's more than 50. It's less than 300.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
19.
You still hits. It's a great shot. And Octavia, you're like you bump into like a couple of the others who are now like waiting at the nose of the boat, and that's when you see the explosion happen at the end of the docks, and it suddenly disappears. The light is gone, and it's under darkness now, and so you know this is the time to go. Okay. So the one that's been firing at Sonika is gonna like, hey, and I'm gonna roll a notice whiz on it. I'm gonna basically see if it sees anybody down in the end, and if it fails, it's gonna think it sees somebody down at the other end, and it's gonna like knocking these lights off, and he's gonna go inspect it. Is kind of how I'm gonna play it. So if he passes, and I'm basically just looking for a 6 right now. Yeah, he doesn't see anyone. Huh. And he turns up towards Sonika. Stop shooting the lights, and fires the electrical pike at you. And again, you still got your cover and misses. And so it manages to, the lightning just sort of gets funneled into the pipe that you're taking cover behind.
Nice.
Okay, Octavia, you and the crew, they start piling in, and
Mm-hmm.
do you go in here just guns a-blazing? Do you go in here quietly? You do suspect that there might be some of the Milladrone enforcers in here. What do you want to do?
Yeah. I'm gonna recommend that we go in quietly, but I'm gonna have my axe readied.
Okay, roll a sneak.
Okie dokie. 7.
5,300.
We have 2 rerolls remaining.
Do you want to re-roll that?
Yeah. Yeah, you think? 6. Fuck.
Oh my gosh, that's the second time.
I'm not.
So you start to climb through, and like the dwarf guy and some of the others, like, we're gonna go to the cockpit and get everything ready. Sweep the boat. Make sure there's none of them on there. As they turn to the left and they go towards the front of the ship to try to get it ready and make it ready, and then you start sparking orders to the few of the others, like, get down to engineering, blah blah, kind of giving everyone sort of roles. And he passes over some of the knives and such that Sonica gave to the people who are actually going to start moving around.
Yeah, I'm gonna give somebody my not my axe, but my short sword.
Okay, you start moving to the right to kind of start petering down into further into the hold of the ship itself, and that's when, like, as you step through a room, you immediately hear and you look forward, and there is this sort of centipede scorpion looking creature that is now staring at you, and you can see that there's this large central light on one of the segments in front that's kind of vertical, and then there's a couple horizontal segments. And you can see that as you step through it, immediately, without even asking, without even caring whatsoever, there's this small little reticle in one of its segments on the side, and a gun pops out and it fires at you immediately without question, because you're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So
We've ran into them once before, so I'm aware.
okay, so it's gonna fire, and it misses with a 5 as it flies right past you. I don't think this one has any sort of special thing to bypass. No, it doesn't bypass shock resistance or anything like that. Okay, so you are now face to face with one of these things, and on your next turn you'll be able to do something with it.
Okay.
Vice, what's your plan here? You are now like halfway across the docks, well away from where your teammates are, where the ship is. There's now 3 different Husk skorgs that are beginning to close in on you from different directions. So at a certain point, you are going to be sort of pinned in.
Okay, I want to do my best to lose them and douse myself
Okay.
in flames.
So
So there's like a body of water that's not the ocean. Maybe just like some standing body of water.
yeah, there's a lake right there too. And there's a river and a
There's,
waterfall.
like, a small
It's everything.
puddle.
Maybe
Yeah.
someone has like some sort of basin. I don't know. I could hop in.
Roll luck to see if you get lucky, and there's a basin full of water. Looking for another body of water. There's a giant river flowing right through the docks.
A clawfoot bathtub that someone just threw down here, just hanging out.
Yeah. One of the people you threw down, their insides are just spilling out, and they're like 80% water, so that should work.
Pass.
Okay, you do see a fairly large canister near you, like this big old open barrel that looks like it's got water in it. But yeah, you could potentially douse yourself with this. Sure. So we'll say you move up to it, move action, and then your actual action is to just douse yourself. Okay, is that fair enough? And then on the next turn you'll try your evasion techniques.
Yeah.
Sonica, what do you want to do? You've now shot out all 3 of the lights.
Have. And how far away from me is the one that was yelling at me and shooting at me?
It's down on the main level within 50 feet.
think I might hang out up. I'm trying to think of what the best thing for me to do would be.
Well, so I'll just throw this out here. Like, you guys have just committed a pretty incredible crime in the eyes of those who run the city. Like, they have been keeping this ship and this crew quarantined. They have been trying to essentially steal or learn how these ships function so that they can make their own and not have to rely on the Until anymore. And you have broken them free. So this is like, if you guys are caught, that's a severe problem, right? That's going to be very unfriendly Sunday for you.
Probably want to get on the ship and go with the ship.
Okay.
So-
Now, from where you're at, like, you're on the roof, you know that the water's not too far away. You could potentially make a running jump and dive into the water if you wanted.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Yeah. I would say roll and exert. Dex or strength's fine. I don't care which. As you go, just dive in. 6 is totally. That's all I wanted. Just want to make sure that I just want to make sure you didn't roll like a double 1 and then you just face plant and then
I trip on
Sonica's-
something and then
Yeah.
just go down.
Just snap
but
your
you-
neck.
But you leap off the roof and you splash down into the water. Now let me roll something for you really quick. Okay, good to know. You dive into the water, and as you're swimming, you begin to notice that there's like this swarm of blinking lights from below that are beginning to close in on you from the dark, black, gunky waters below you.
Oh no.
Okay. I'm gonna roll I'm gonna roll a check, like a group check, to see if they notice Vice now. With a 10, they do. They look over at you. They're not close to you. They're like 30 feet away, and you can see they're kind of spread out a little bit. One is essentially to the east, one is basically to the north, and then one is basically to the west, and you've been running kind of south, let's say. And so they're all kind of coming from slightly different directions, but they're shouting like, "He's over there! He doused himself! Well, that's good too. I still don't understand why he didn't just drop. We need to get him and ask him." And so they continue to move in your direction. Octavia, you're on the ship. There's one of these Milladrone defraggers that are right in front of you. What do you want to do?
I want to hit it with my war axe.
Go right ahead as you step forward.
21.
21 will hit for sure. How much damage?
It's 4, but it inflicts 5 shock damage to AC 15 or less.
So it'll take 5 damage.
Okay.
So what you don't add the two together. If shock
Yeah.
damage you rolled is more than what you rolled for regular
I was
damage, you do the
basically
shock
asking
instead.
if
Yeah.
15 was good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Oh, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have to hit the shock damage. You just get the damage roll. Like, because your
okay.
attack hit, you would get the higher damage roll, basically.
Fantastic. Okay, gotcha.
It is not down, but you have you basically bury the blade of the axe into one of its segments. But it is
And I
still functional.
roar as I do
Yeah.
it.
All right. And instead, its beam is so you're fairly close for its beam. So instead, it's going to roll 2 pincer attacks on you. As you can see, as coming from the vertical segment, you see there's these small pincer arms that it has, and it's going to reach down and try to
Little
snap you.
grabbers.
Yeah, it's grabbers, and it can attack twice with this. So once with each. First one's a 12, no good.
Negative.
Second one is a 16.
Hits.
Okay, so you take 1
Does
point of
it
damage
doesn't
from
have
that.
to exceed, does it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No,
so
it's
that
it's meter exceed. So 1 point of damage as it snaps into you. Okay, then Vice out on the. Actually, no, the other one. Let me roll the other one that was exchanging fire with Sonika and see if it notices her jump into the water. With a 6, it's dark over there. I'll say he heard a splash, but he's like, "Hey, who's over there? Hey!" And then fires a shot up towards the roof anyway, and seems confused. Vice, explain your plan for eluding capture.
Can be quite difficult. I'm gonna weave through any structures that are here. If I have to hop through like buildings and whatnot, I'll do
Okay.
so.
Okay. So we'll say that there are definitely structures. Some of them have windows, some of them don't. Some of them have doors, some of them don't, so that you can see immediately. I'm sure there's doors on one side or the other, but like you could potentially run inside. So do you want to go into a building?
Yeah, I'll hide in one, see if they like run by. Or...
Okay. You bust into a building. And you hear a shout like, "Hey, you can't go in there." Like, and then you hear like, "Do you think he knows that he can't go in there? We should go tell him." And so like they're continuing to come after you at this point. Roll a sneak. See if you can like sort of elude capture to some degree. All right. Okay. So you rolled a 6.
Okay.
On their next turn, when they go looking for you, they will roll. Okay. Inside the sub still. Octavia, you can go ahead and roll another attack if you wanted. This thing's still up.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll.
5 damage.
5 damage again. Okay. It's still up, but you have done some significant damage to its middle segment. Soninka, in the water.
Yeah.
The lights get close and close and close until you realize that it's like some kind of school of fish. I need you to roll a mental save. As they start dancing around and moving in sort of this very mesmerizing fashion. Like it's just beautiful in like the way in which it's fascinating. And rather than swim forward, you just, maybe it's your survivalist nature. You just sort of pause and you just look down, fascinated by them, and just wonder exactly what they do, what they are. You're effectively like stunned is basically what's happening. As they begin to swarm around you. Inside, this Milidrone will again take 2 pincer attacks at Octavia, hit on one for 3 points of damage, but miss on the other. And then outside, as one of the Huskorgs pushes through the door into the building that you're in. You're hiding here. You rolled a 6. I'm gonna see if they notice you. They roll a 14, and they're like, "I can see you behind the counter. What? You don't own this place. Get out of here. There's water on the ground. Walking all the way around the counter. I can see you. You're not good at hiding." It's just sort of really like plainly insulting you. Like, "You're right here. Plus you smell. That was gross fish water. It's just really smelly now." And the other 2 are like in the doorway. So there's now 3 of them in this room with you. You're got some distance between you, but your hiding place is given up. What do you want to do with that, Vice?
Is there a window nearby I could jump out of?
Yeah, sure. Roll an exert as you like kind of run and try to dive out of it before they can like reach out and grab you. So like exert dex or something like that. Just sort of dive out. Oh boy, you want to re-roll that? With a 4?
Then come up with me. Okay.
You roll a 4.
I'll re-roll.
All right.
Last one.
Mark it. Okay, so the last re-roll. Oh boy, this is it.
Nice.
10.
Oh, 10, nice.
You go running, doosh, doosh, and you just dive out of this small window, kind of contorting yourself, and you hear, hey, no! And then you dive out and you kind of tumble on the ground, stand up. It's a beautiful little move. And you look around and the 3 of them are stuck inside. You look back at the window. They're like 9 feet tall, like almost 400, 500 pounds. Like they're not going to be able to get through that window with the deftness that your tiny bony frame was able to. So you might have a clear run back towards the boat. It's just a question of whether, either of the other 2 Huskorg, one of them that's over, or the other 3 Huskorg notice you as you do so. But the ones you seem to have kind of like given the old loop-de-swoop. They go inside and you hop out and now you can run away. So it's just a question of if you can probably sneak by the last one that was shooting at Sonenka, is the question. Okay. Sonenka. Mm-hmm. So this swarm begins to to just move around you like these tiny glowing fish. And you can see as they start to sort of nibble and bite and nibble and bite and nibble and bite. And there's just all these tiny little fish are just starting to bite into you as the water begins to sort of to get red with blood. They have the exact same bonuses as the Milladrone, so I'm just going to roll that. So a pincer attack. Hits an AC 20 for 1 point of damage. What is with me and rolling ones on damage die?
1 damage. It's
What
amazing.
is with this? This is insane. This cheats, man. Take 1 point.
It's good because it's the only way I'm still alive.
Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, they're swarming around you now. Okay. Sonika.
Yes.
You are now that they've attacked you, this like kind of the fascination has left you, but it was enough to kind of pause and slow and let them get around you. However, if you try to leave this space, they will basically essentially get the ability to attack you as you're like an opportunity attack. Do you want to just swim and take it? So like double move essentially and just take the damage, or do you want to do the fighting withdrawal so that you extract yourself from this area? But that would mean that you don't get to swim as far.
I will do the fighting withdrawal.
Okay, so you fighting withdrawal, and then you move in the water, and you start to swim away. Okay. Then Octavia, inside, this Milladrone is kind of still pincing at you. You could see like it's starting to malfunction a bit, like kind of twitching here and there. You've hacked away at its central segment. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do?
Hit it again.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh no.
And that will miss. It will immediately attack back. 21 for 5 points of damage. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh.
And then the second one for 8, which misses. As maybe your swing is like you exert yourself a little bit too much, and it takes advantage of your stretch and kind of grabs you behind the shoulder. Vice, you're running back, and you can see that there's this Husk that's got its back to you, and it's like shooting up towards the roof, and then it periodically coming back and shouting into the water. What do you want to do?
So I know she was shooting at the lights. It's like a dark. Is it dark long?
It's dark. It's dark, but the only light that comes up is from the little flickering of the blue electricity at the end of the pike that it's arcing whenever he's holding it, but also he shoots out this arc of it that goes up towards the roof every now and then as he thinks there's somebody still up there. What would you like to do? And it's right at the edge of the water too.
Just like to sneak by, just get on the ship if possible.
All right, roll a sneak.
Roll
I will
well.
contest with its awareness. Or its notice, excuse me. I rolled a 13.
Oh
Okay,
no.
You start to sneak around, and it's like, huh? Hey! Why are you sneaking? And it turns, and it points the gun in your direction now and fires. So it's going to shoot at you this time with its pike. 21 to hit. 7
no.
points. This would actually count as basically magical damage. So 7 points of damage. Are you carrying anything right now?
Probably not. It's probably all burned.
Okay, yeah. So then don't even worry about rolling the endurance. It basically just numbs your hands and has a chance to disarm. That's all it does. Okay.
How are you doing with that damage?
But it turns around,
just
fires
7.
at you. He didn't take any damage from going for the turret, so he's totally fine. All right. Sonenka, the school of fish has absolutely no trouble chasing you down, as fish likely swim faster than you, and they're able to sort of get to you, and they're going to continue to try to like bite away at you. Again, I'm just going to roll the pincer attacks. Misses with a 7. You manage to kind of contort yourself. It bites, but it's mainly biting into your clothes, your pack, stuff like that. All right. Octavia, inside, you now have one, you have this one that's kind of right here in front of you, smoking, busted. Do you want to try to finish it off here? It looks like it's on its last legs.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. One good hit should do it. That's not a good hit. as you
Oh,
swing down.
Is that the? No, that's the axe. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, you rolled a 4, so you're not hit with a 4 no matter what weapon you're using.
Damn it.
As it misses again, it will turn around and take 2 shots back at you once more. 16, 4 points of damage. That'll hit.
Okay.
Oh boy. That's another 16 with 6 points of damage. Is this thing...
I'm down to 5 health.
Okay. It's got 4, so like it's
Yeah.
not doing well either. So Vice, this thing just turned around and shot you. You're not in immediate like melee with it yet, but you're close. You're just a couple feet away. You can make a run for it, but you're basically trying to run basically down a 100-foot long dock, which means he'll get another shot at you at some point. What do you want to do?
It's fine.
But-
If I can outrun him to it.
Okay.
then I'll go ahead
Yeah,
and-
you're confident you can outrun him. You just know that you're gonna have to take probably one more shot from this thing before you get to the entrance to the thing. Okay, so you're running as fast as you can. It's just like, hey, no, come back! As it fires at you, run away. 10 AC misses. Do you have anything that prevents shock damage?
AC wise, I don't think it beats mine.
AC 15 for shock.
I have whirling evasion, and then
What's your AC right now?
15, I think.
15. So yeah,
match. Okay.
it's just 1 point though. It's 1 point of shock damage.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Okay, so it kind of nips you as you're running, but you just ran 60 feet, and so if you do the same thing on your next turn, you'll be able to get inside, and it won't be able to shoot at you. Sunenka, what do you want to do? You're in the water. You got this swirling glowfish school around you that's biting at you. Very annoying. What do you want to do?
Would you consider this fish swarm a beast?
Oh, for sure, it's a beast. Yeah, it's a swarm of beasts, but yeah.
Okay. Then I'll spend one of my Beastmaster effort
Okay.
on Know the Weak Spot.
Okay.
So essentially, whenever I inflict damage on a beast with a weapon or physical attack, I roll the damage twice and take the higher score.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. You want to take an attack at it? You want to start swiping away at this thing?
Might as well,
All right, go for it.
because I can do an attack in a move, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll attack, move away a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only difference is
So-
if you attack and then move without taking a fighting withdrawal, they could conceivably get an attack on you as you
Oh,
move
I
away.
see what you're saying. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see how this works. So, I'm trying to think of what I have that I can use,
What do you mean?
like what I haven't given away.
Oh yeah, you give away all your knives and stuff, but you haven't given away your hands.
Yeah, I haven't. All right, I'm just gonna punch him.
Okay. You're punching tiny glowing fish.
I am.
This is what we've come to. 12 AC will hit. 1 point of damage. 5 points of damage. AC 10 is good enough. AC 10 hits these.
Okay, so then yeah, 5.
5 total points of damage as you just wailing away like crazy at these things. You then swim away. I think they're going to take a little bite at you as you swim away, though. So 5 points of damage as they nip away at you.
Son of a bitch.
However,
Look so good.
however,
Just so everyone knows.
with 5 points of damage, you literally just did like half their health. And so you can see that with half of them now floating in the water, they're going to rethink their desire at this point as you've destroyed half of their swarm, and they're going to begin to redescend back down into the dark sea below. Okay. Then back inside the sub, we've got Octavia. Go for it. Do you want to hit this thing? I know you
Yeah, but
want to
yeah,
hit this thing.
I want to.
Can you hit this thing?
That's the question.
You cannot. How much shock damage does it do?
5.
To an AC fit, that is actually still enough to kill it though, because it had four left at that point. So 5 points of shock damage.
Wow.
Despite the fact that you missed, you probably like stumble into it and sort of shove it into the side of the sub, and you can hear just and you just hear. You would know that these things will like they kind of have their own like auto repair tech. So they will literally, unless they're desegmented, like unless you rip apart their segments, they will always constantly rebuild themselves.
Okay.
So, but they are going to be out for hours. Like so as it's sort of rebuilding and it's one of the things it can essentially do. So you have a choice. You can either rip it apart and literally kill it because you can segment it, or you can just get it the hell off the ship.
I'll probably segment it. I'll spend that time.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're just hacking through, murdering this thing that was just doing its job. Gotcha. Okay, Vice, you're just running.
I commit a federal crime, and I don't need a witness.
There's several witnesses from the dots. Vice, you run inside. Yeah, Vice, you run inside, and you manage to outrun this thing. Sonenka, you've managed to lose the glowfish and climb up. Vice, as you're going through the door, you see a splashing around, and there's like Sonika's hand. You manage to pull her up, and the three of you manage to get onto this ship with these Iron Tillafolk. The Huskborg clearly saw some of you, especially Vice, in Sonika. How much they saw of Octavia, you're not really sure, but in terms of the three of you, you know that two of your faces are very well seen by this group of dutiful, loyal, kind-hearted Huskborg. But after a couple minutes or so of like the Huskborg pounding on the door to try to get in, but unable to, you hear like the thrumming of engines, and like all of these Iron Tilla folks are kind of shouting to one another, and suddenly movement happens, and the ship begins to depart, gets back away from the dock, begins to float basically westward, and you hear like, dive, and slowly kind of starts to sink down. A few portholes here and there, you can kind of look out. It's not like a modern day submarines. You can actually see some things here and there, but you can feel like the water is beginning to sort of swirl around, and kind of the walls itself kind of squeak and clench and stuff from time to time. But all of you meet up at some point within the hull, and basically you know that you can't quite return to Big Husk at the moment, right? You kind of gotta lay low for a bit, as you just committed a very serious offense. But after probably about 45 minutes of travel, you make it to... He wouldn't roll. I don't understand why he wouldn't roll. He would not drop and roll. He wouldn't even stop. You make it out towards where the Iron Tilla fleet is. And Barbara Osa, sort of the captain that you spoke to, like you can see everyone kind of gets up to the surface, like your ship that you're on surfaces. The Vrumfigure, the elemental dwarf, who seems to be the captain of this ship, this crew, thanks you all, kind of welcomes you, and just says to stay out of the way. But eventually, when you meet with Barbara Osa, and she says that the deal is still good, but she asks you do you want to return, or might it be best for you to... Wait, what's the voice? I used the Jeffrey Rush voice. So she was like, see if I can do it again. See if I can call on it right away. You best start believing in ghosts. Okay, there we go. I got it. So she says, y'all want to return to the Big Husk, or do you want to travel with us out into the seas? What you did for us makes you family, and family can go with us wherever we want.
Family.
Can't return to the Husk. Not right now.
Oh. That's their loss and our gain. Yeah. The three of you enacted strategies beyond our comprehension. I've heard tales from those that you rescued, and they said that your strategy and tactics were beyond anything we've seen before. Brilliance! that has not yet graced the beautiful halls of the Iron Tiller. So,
What an honor.
we'll bring you back to our home ports. And we'll find work for you for now. And in time, maybe we'll return. Maybe we won't. Maybe the treasures we find out deep beneath the seas will lure you to stay with us forever. But we'll see. Next season. That is basically the end of our season 1 of Worlds Without Number, right?
We all
Dude,
made
we
it
lived.
Nice.
with
Can't believe you guys
3 health to spare.
How
Costa five.
how close did you get? Oh, hey, it's Jeremy.
3
Man.
health.
3
of
health for
19.
Sonica. Oh
I
boy.
had 5 health.
If you literally for that swarm, if you hadn't done half its damage, it would have continued to fight you. But because you did half its damage, that was enough to get it to turn around. Octavia, I can't believe you stayed
I
like
whiffed.
you just get whiffing and whiffing, and like the shock damage was helping, but like you can do so much more if you don't whiff, right?
Mhm.
And then Vice is running around on fire all throughout the docks. It's like,
That's fucking
oh my
brilliant.
goodness, this is absolutely insane. Oh, what a wonderful distraction! A crazy bony man running around. These poor Husk
Well,
orc
it's
that
like,
are just
I'm gonna
wondering what the
light
hell you're
myself
doing.
on fire.
Oh god. Oh boy. Okay. So that was a fun. We've been playing for almost a little over 3 months now, I think. So I think we're
think
gonna
so,
call
yeah.
that season 1. And we'll return because I don't know, I like Worlds Without Number. It's
I do too.
it's my I think it's my favorite like iteration of like the D&D-ish style D20, like, you know, kind of always like all that kind of like that sort of family of things between like Pathfinder, D&D, Old School Essentials, all that kind of stuff. I think I like this the best.
Really
of
like the
ones
foci
we
and the
played.
arts and stuff.
Yeah. I was talking to Melissa now, saying how like it's interesting how like I've been playing this and I've been trying to like run it by the book, but like after a while, like I start like like most GMs do this, like you start picking the things that you like to use and things from one system to the other, and I started combining other stuff. So I started using clocks here and there from Blaze in the Dark, and I started doing like encounter tables that I used to do for Bastion Land and stuff. So
You did
Yeah.
Delve. That was pretty cool.
yeah, the Delve from Heart, yeah, it's fun to
Yeah.
do all that types of stuff. So
I think it's pretty
But
cool.
yeah.
Like not everything's like a D20 check. You have like skill checks that are all like different.
the
Can,
2D
like, modify.
the
Yeah.
2D6s and stuff. Yeah. I definitely like it. It's we didn't like. It's interesting because like I thought we would hex crawl more, but we did a couple. But I thought we might go other places here and there. Like there's still a lot of cool places to explore. Like Bramble Country is its own. Like we can have our own like thing up there, and then the Sultan States of Radiocracy are just it's like bonkers. But that's basically what the UVG is. So we could just go watch our UVG game on Monday, and that's essentially that. But there's lots of places to go, and the Iron Tilla too. Like we can, like if we come back, whenever we do season 2, like we can always do like a water adventure of like deep sea diving and fishing
That would be
for.
cool.
So that could be kind of fun. Yeah, so it's pretty fun. Like I definitely recommend it. But yeah, we'll take a break. We're going to come back in a couple weeks. Not next week. We might do like a one shot or something next week if I can round up enough people. If not, we'll be back on Saturdays on the 4th of September. And that's when we're going to start up. Speaking of Blaze in the Dark, we're going to start a run of Blaze in the Dark for a bit. So we're going to do a couple weeks of that. And then we got one more game planned after Blades in the Dark that not announcing yet. And then we might come back to Worlds Without Number, maybe by the end of the year, maybe beginning of 2022. So, but we're going to take a couple weeks or months off of this. But if you have not played Worlds Without Number yet, you definitely should. It's very, very fun. And it's got tons of really cool GM tools and world building tools for those of you out there who might be doing like homebrew worlds and things like that. Like there's awesome stuff that you can just do with this. It's really, really great. Oh, thank you for dropping that, Melissa. Yeah, Logan couldn't make it last week, so we basically just finished this up without him. But when we come back, we'll see if he's around and interested in coming back and playing. But for those of you who like the tokens that you see underneath everyone's little windows here, you should definitely go check out Old Man Logan on Instagram. He does some token art and stuff like that. You can potentially get him to do some of that awesome stuff. And yeah, so let's see other things we do. Come back on Monday, where we'll be doing some Alien. So come check that out. Come back next Friday, where we're gonna have the part 2 finale of Impossible Landscapes for Delta Green, part 2 of 4. So it's like the midway point. It's gonna be intense. And then not sure yet. On Saturday we might do a one shot of something. We might not. We might just take the week off. Just follow me on Twitter and I'll announce it. We'll figure that out. But thank you for those of you who hung out. Thank you for the bits that you all threw.
That
We
kept
really,
us alive.
it really did
Yeah,
actually.
it really
Again,
did.
definitely kept people alive.
You guys are amazing.
So let's go ahead and do a raid. I was kind of trying to stall a bit to see if Chuck and the boys would be up on Goodman Official, but it doesn't look like they have gotten there yet. Very, very close, unfortunately. Jeremy, do you know if they're starting up soon? I know Jeremy was in the chat. That's why I'm asking. Key Cowboy. If not, no big deal. All right. So we're going to start up a raid. I'm going to throw us on the end. Thanks for bearing with our little tech problems at the beginning. Let's
Yeah.
see.
Yay for power.
Yeah, power's back. So we're going to raid Dragons of the Dining Rooms. Just hang tight, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi.